The Dallas Cowboys have so many weapons with which to score. They are led now by Danny White, having a remarkable year as their successor to Roger Staubach. One of the other weapons, the great third down receiver, Preston Pearson. But the man who gives them the real extra dimension is Tony Dorsett, number 33. The last 10 years of his football career, he has gained 1,000 yards or more every year. The Cowboys must stop tonight another fine quarterback, Vince Ferragamo, who will play though hurt. Here he is.
Well, my ribs are a little bit sore. I'm going to have to wear some external padding on it and just play the game. Just hopefully that they won't get hit.
That external padding will be in the form of a fiberglass protection. Give him time, he can be remarkable. The best touchdown per pass record in the league. So tonight, a critical game. Top 4 teams in the playoffs. If the Rams can win tonight, they clinch a playoff berth.
Southern California on a beautiful night for football. It's 67 degrees, and tonight, from Anaheim Stadium, looking down from the Goodyear blimp, Columbia, much is on the line for 2 of the NFL's finest. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. It's the Dallas Cowboys against the Los Angeles Rams. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Datsun, where you'll find that in all the 1981 Datsuns, the greatest economy of all is quality.
This place has been sold out for the past 2 months. These two teams don't like one another. They never have. They present about as good a matchup as you can have in the National Football League. It's like Houston against Pittsburgh. And we look for a dilly tonight. The Rams, as you know, must win tonight from their point of view. If they can, you know what it means. But they've got injuries. Here's the Giffer to tell you about them.
You're absolutely right, Howard. We should have a beauty tonight. These teams have met 5 times in the last 7 years in the playoffs, but for the Rams tonight, you could call it the Blue Cross Bowl because they are really hurting. The question for Ray Malavasi, do you keep some of your players out and try to beat Dallas tonight, or rather Atlanta next week, or do you go all out tonight to beat Dallas because they got to win one of these games, or Detroit could slide in by beating Green Bay next Sunday? The Rams on their left side are really hurting. Jim Youngblood, a left linebacker, he's questionable. Pat Thomas is not even suited up. The fine defensive left cornerback, Fred Dreyer, is hurting, and you know that they have also lost Elvis Peacock, their fine running back. Wendell Tyler's not available, and, well, I'm glad I'm not Ray Malavasi. He's got a problem.
You present a gloomy pre-game picture for the Rams. On the other side of the coin, the newly bearded one, and a former Cowboy, ready to tell you about the likes of Dorsett and some of the others. Don Meredith.
Thank you. I think that's one of the keys this year when we started. The Cowboys said, hey, we're going to rebuild. We've got 2 major areas of concern now that Staubach is not here. We're going to shore up that defense. So Tom Landry goes back to the defense. We're going to try to emphasize the running game. Well, Dorsett's record to me really is impressive. When you think you go all the way back into high school, and every year in the fall the guy runs for 1,000 yards, you're going to want him on your side. However, tonight I think maybe the key is triggers off of the unhealthy Rams, because these 2 offensive lines, Cowboys and the Rams, are as good as anybody around. So it may show up in the strength of Dallas's offensive line trying to work against a defense that maybe not as strong as ordinarily we would expect to see the Rams. But I'm excited about this game. I think it is a good game. We're getting close to it. So, Frank, it's your time. Let's go down there and see what's happening.
And there is a question mark tonight. The man that has gone all the way thus far this season when Pat Hayden was hurt in the opening game against Detroit, Vince Ferragamo. And he has been tremendous in doing so, but he was bumped up against Buffalo a week ago, sore ribs, and he'll be wearing a protective pad there tonight. Danny White, what can you say about him? Howard mentioned him. He stepped in, took over from Roger Staubach, and he has been absolutely brilliant. And what I like about him the most is the fact that he has been so cool. And set to go, the Dallas Cowboys have won the toss, and as we look deep, we see James Jones, the rookie from Mississippi State. Frank Corral will set it up again, getting this game into perspective. As we look down, Los Angeles is 9-5. in the Western Division of the NFC. A loss tonight and a loss next week to Atlanta, and they are out of it. Should Detroit be able to beat Green Bay? A lot of complexities involved in the playoff system. We'll try and bring you up to date on most of them as they have developed over the past weekend. Right now, we're set to go. Frank Norrell will kick off, and he booms one that will be taken over on the right side by Steve Wilson, the second-year man from Howard. And Steve Wilson nailed there at the 20-yard line, out to the 22-yard line. And let's meet the offensive unit of the Dallas Cowboys. You had a quick look at Danny White, and he has been something. 23 touchdowns, 4 more this year, and he will tie Roger Staubach's Dallas Cowboy record for a single year. Tony Dorsett, Don has alluded to him. He has just been absolutely magnificent. He's holding on to the football. That was a problem in pass, and he has only fumbled this year 7 times out of over 250. The Cowboys, the leading scoring team in the National Football League with 405 points, move up to the line of scrimmage, their first play from scrimmage. Setbacks again, Newhouse, number 44, Tony Dorsett, 33, and here comes Tony Dorsett. Inside, Fred Dreyer. And Dorsett dances out of bounds up at the 34-yard line, where he is very close to a first down. Tony Dorsett will, I believe, pick up the first down as we look once again.
It's not surprising that they go to this side of the line. You see Freddie Dyer's really upfield. He's got a bad calf muscle, not going to be able to cut very quick. That may be his, and it is his strongest point, is his quickness. And that's just good running on Dorsett's part on the outside. But they're going to check him out. Freddie, you going to play? And they've already taken Dreyer out, Frank, so he may not be ready.
Freddie Dreyer at least made his 174th consecutive start tonight. He has a pulled calf muscle. He is out of the game already, and in there quickly, replacing him is Reggie Doss, number 71. On 1st and 10, this is Ron Springs. He'll alternate with Newhouse tonight, and he is met by the bulk of the defensive unit, headed by Jack Reynolds, who anchors the 4-3 defense for the Los Angeles Rams, and it is a good one. Freddie Dreyer, as I mentioned, has already gone out with the sore leg. Reggie Doss has moved in, number 71. Jim Youngblood is the other question mark, number 53. Jim Youngblood with a hyperextended elbow a week ago, and he did not know how long he could go tonight. And the question mark over on the left corner is Leroy Irvin, a rookie from Kansas, and you better believe that Coach Tom Landry, who calls the plays for the Cowboys, will be testing number 47, Leroy Irvin, the rookie from Kansas, very quickly tonight. Because out of the lineup is Pat Thomas, a former All-Pro defensive cornerback for the Rams. It's 2nd down and 8. Inside handoff, Tony Dorsett, and Tony Dorsett finds an opening and out over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Dorsett picking up a quick 7.
Good change of plays that time after he got to the line of scrimmage. Saw an opening in the middle. I think maybe one of the offensive linemen, I'm not for sure, could have been Scott. May not have gotten that all, but he still picked up almost the first down. Ran into his own men.
3rd down and 2, and we'll see what type of respect Tom Landry has for the Ram defense. This scenario, it's a little more than 2 to go. Scenario where the Cowboys could go with the run, or they could come with the pass. Springs is in there for Newhouse. That would indicate that it's the passing unit in there, but they do set up in the short yardage offense, and the handoff is to Dorsett, and Dorsett to the 45-yard line. He has a Cowboy first down. Jack Reynolds, again defensively for the Los Angeles Rams.
A remarkable player as you look at him. We've told you his statistics, but they don't really tell the story. It's his growth that matters, because he's matured even in his ability to run the football, to find the opening, the burst through with his rapidity. And on top of it, he's cut back on the fumbles, the most frequently cited deficiency, only 7 this year.
Ron Springs is joined by rookie Timmy Newsome, a 6th-round draft pick from Winston-Salem State for the Dallas Cowboys. Youth in that backfield, and Danny White goes up high. Brings it down, and there's a scramble for it, but the pass is led to Drew Pearson, the all-time Cowboys leading receiver, out of bounds. It'll be 2nd down and 10 back at the 45-yard line.
And covering him, Frank, as you suggested, was Leroy Irvin. They threw right against him, and the kid was really nervous when I talked to him earlier today.
He should be, because he was beaten on that play. Danny White had to throw the ball a little early. They blitzed the linebacker. We saw Reynolds come in, number 64, and Danny forced that throw a little bit early.
It will help, though, because Irvin is going to think deep now for a while, the rookie from Kansas, and it should give Pearson an opportunity to work underneath. Tony Dorsett, and another big opening left side, and Dorsett spilled up at the 49-yard line. Perry was up there quickly, defensively from cornerback, number 49.
As not a clean hit. I think Tony may be a little upset with himself that time. He more or less tripped rather than being tackled. If he had not been tripped, it had Jack Youngblood coming all the way from his defensive left in heavy pursuit.
3rd down and 6. Cowboys taking the opening kickoff. They've already worked nearly 4 minutes off the clock here in the early going. Danny White settles in out of the shotgun. Cowboys come with the blitz, and Danny White had apparently audibilized to Tony Hill, who did not read the blitz. The ball well overthrown, and the Cowboys will punt. Danny White saw the blitz, but Tony Hill did not.
Little nervous start there for Danny. I think he's a little tentative on his pass to Preston, and there was a mix-up there. Don't know if it's Danny's fault necessarily, but there was a mix-up.
Leroy Irvin is dropping for the Los Angeles Rams as we look at Danny White, a fine punter. Doesn't get that long distance, but he hangs it high and gets good coverage from his Cowboy teammates. Danny hammers it. And Irvin looks it in at the 12-yard line, and that ball is loose. Oh, man. The Ram has to cover it inside the 5-yard line. All the way down inside the 5. And hustling down there was number 23, Lucius Smith, and it's a good thing he was there.
Right there, you saw the nervousness of Leroy Irvin. He heard the footsteps pouring in on him. He took his eye off the ball, and now they're in a terrible field position.
Howard mentioned Leroy Irvin was tested early deep by the Dallas Cowboys. Pass underthrown by Danny White, thrown out of bounds. He bobbled the punt inside the 5, and the Los Angeles Rams will begin at their own 2-yard line. Vince Ferragamo, keep in mind, had to leave the Buffalo game a week ago with bruised ribs. He's back in there as a starter. Cullen Bryant, number 32, is in there with Gerald Thomas, number 33. Those are your setbacks. And the motion man is Victor Hicks, the tight end. Thomas, the rookie from San Jose State, and he may have squeezed the yard out of it. He is forced quickly by number 53 for the Dallas Cowboys. That's the middle linebacker, Bob Brunig. And let's take a look at the entire offense. They have been hurt throughout the entire year with the loss of running backs. We told you Elvis Peacock was lost a week ago. Knee surgery. They only had their fine Wendell Tyler for about 3 weeks. An offensive line, and it's a good one, but nevertheless, some of these players are also playing with bruises, particularly Doug France over on the left side. There was a gain of 1, so a 2nd down and 9 as the Rams bring it up. Capacity crowd, of course, near 70,000. Ferragamo from the end zone. And intended to go to Thomas on the little screen out of the flat, and dropping quickly. Heads up out there was number 58, Mike Hegman.
That's really a scary look. You go back into your own end zone, you're going to throw a little quick screen. You look at the linebacker instead of your offensive lineman. As you see Harvey Martin, Randy White there, that defensive line.
A Ram is down and being administered to, and this could really hurt the Rams if Rich Saul had to come out to center. That would mean Hara would have to move from right guard to center, and they would have to bring in a rookie, Irv Pankey, at right guard, and that is what we, I think, are going to see happen for the Rams offensive line. So more injuries plaguing the Rams in a game that they absolutely have got to win. Yeah, I know they feel that way.
Yeah, that's the senior citizen that you're seeing coming off there. He's the guy that really does literally and figuratively hold down that line. And Malavasi says, what else can happen?
They can't cut it without Saul. He may be, at this stage of his performance life, and with Jack Langer now a veteran of so many years, the best center in the National Football League. Terrific quickness. The other one is Fitzgerald of Dallas, who's not in there tonight. Shaw playing for Dallas.
It's not the best place to try out a brand new center, but they got that snap.
3rd down 9. Ferragamo has a man open, and he hits Preston Denard. And Denard, what a play. Broke clear at the 25-30-yard line, and Ferragamo right on target. Aaron Mitchell made the tackle, but not until Denard had moved out over the 45-yard line to the 46.
Gosh, he was really open, too. Don't really know for sure how it happened, but he's just running free across the middle. A perfectly thrown ball. Preston Denard is a guy that's got a lot of moves. Really quality kind of guy, too. I like him a lot.
He just ran away from Aaron Mitchell, the starting cornerback on the right side.
Well, Frank, wouldn't you think that there was some kind of a mix-up over there? I mean, you're not going to leave in their 3rd down and long situation. There was just man-to-man coverage. First down.
Even if it was outside inside with the free safety, gave him too much room. This is Thomas. Heading back, and Thomas breaks off a big one inside the 40-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Taken out of bounds by Aaron Mitchell, and the Rams have started from the 2. They're in Dallas Cowboy territory.
All right, you're looking at an end zone replay, and you remember Jewel Thomas and the brilliant run he executed against Tampa Bay on a Thursday night game we did the first week of the season. Ordinarily a fullback, but you don't sit down Cullen Bryant. They've worked him all week at halfback because of the injuries already set forth by Frank. He's a tough, good runner.
Dennis Harrer has moved to center, but Bill Bain is coming at right guard. He wears number 62 for the Rams. That's the adjustment with Saul out at center. First down and 10, the ball at the 39-yard line. Ferragamo back. Again, wide open. This is Billy Waddy this time, and Waddy stretches, tries to reach the 20, and is very close to it.
He may have dropped that ball, Frank.
He did not hold it. They say no.
Called it incomplete.
Billy Waddy with the great speed. He was the man who beat the Cowboys in the playoffs last year with a 50-yard score from this man, Ferragamo.
Seems like a broken record, but it does start. He had good time to throw. Benny Barnes, number 31, is the fellow we see in there. Benny has been in and out this year because of injuries, but once again, the receiver was wide open.
And one that should have been caught. Kennard goes left. Waddy is to the right. The tight end is Victor Hicks, first-year man out of Oklahoma. The big one, Cullen Bryant. Tries over the left side, runs into Randy White. Bob Brunig is also there. A gain of a yard, maybe. It'll be 3rd down and 9, and out comes the offensive changes for the Rams. In comes the defensive changes for the Cowboys, and they make wholesale changes. Dexter Clinkscale, a rookie from South Carolina State, comes in for the Cowboys. They bring in Anthony Dickerson. As we look at the 3rd winningest coach in the history of professional football, Tom Landry.
And in my book, having his greatest coaching year. Talk more about that later.
3rd and 9. Ferragamo with a lot of time. Waddy's wide open.
I was saying, boy, that's it. They have got him running open back in that secondary.
Waddy broke it off just as Denard did a few moments ago. He was wide open. That's Steve Wilson covering.
Again, it appears to me they're getting him in fairly close to man-to-man coverage there without blitzing linebackers. Just wide open, but once again, Vince has got plenty of time to throw.
You know, it looked like Wilson was anticipating help from the inside. He just didn't get it.
I think you'll see a free safety coming up from the top in there, which is Randy Hughes, actually, who has been out almost all year. He's come back. Could have been a missed assignment there.
First down and 10, the ball at the 13-yard on the Cowboys. No score, 8:25 remaining in the first quarter. Gerald Thomas, left side, and Thomas stays on his feet, struggles to the 7.
Oh, that's a good move. Inside of Harvey Martin. Over Dean North's side.
Brunig made the stop.
You know, the Rams front office, Klosterman and the rest, the Rams coaches, long talks with them during the past 2 days. They are convinced in their analysis of the Cowboys through all the years, there's the Italian stallion, a phrase notarized by Rizzuto in New York, that the Cowboys do not have adequate cornerbacks and have not had through the years. They've had great safety, and that's what they're trying to take advantage of.
3rd down and about 4, or rather 2nd and 4, as Gerald Thomas tries that same spot again. It's beyond the line of scrimmage, but maybe a gain of about a yard. So we're going to call this 3rd down and 3.
Don, you give Ferragamo time, he can kill you. Mechanically, he has every skill. If he has a problem in achieving greatness in the years to come, and he's far from it now, it is attitudinal.
Well, I don't know it personally, Howard. I do know that he does have the equipment. I think that's pretty obvious. I think it's in that area of experience that he needs some work.
3rd down and 3. Out of the short yardage, Gerald Thomas tries it right up the middle. And this will, again, be dependent upon where the progress is marked. I believe it'll be short of the first down, and it will be decision time for Coach Ray Malavasi. Do we go for the field goal, take the 3 while we're down here, or do we try and take it in? Malavasi says go for it.
Very interesting.
I don't know about the choice of this call. They started their drive, the Rams did, at their own 2-yard line. 4th down and a yard, and it's a full yard.
I would guess if they're going to run, they're going to go back to the left. It doesn't do any good to guess. But why did I do that?
That'll be working over against the Cowboys. Harvey Martin and Randy White. That's where they've been running with success. Head to call Jones is the other way. Easily done. Into the end zone. Cullen Bryant and the Rams are on the scoreboard. 4th down, 1. Gutsy call. Ray Malvasi. It pays off.
All right. On such decisions does a coach hold his job. Ray from Clifton, New Jersey has taken a lot of heat.
They did go left, and there was a big hole over there. Let's see what they're doing. They're coming in. Good block. Actually, good lead block by Thomas. Out of that backfield, who slowed him up and left them wide open in there. Thomas had a good block. Of course, we mentioned that line briefly, offensive line that they have over there.
That rookie from Penn State, Irv Pankey, with a fine block also. Frank Corral. What a conversion, high snap. Colin Cromwell gets it down. The Rams have 7. 6:29 remaining in the first quarter. The Rams, 98 yards for the first points on the scoreboard. We'll be returning to a jam-packed Anaheim Stadium in Southern California in a moment.
And Frank, I will have both fighters with me live from our Los Angeles studios on Friday night. You will see how they really feel about one another.
And you can check out Roberto Duran's diet. Frank Corral to kick off. James Jones is deep. This will be Jones, the rookie from Mississippi State. From the end zone. Jones is whacked as he moves out over the 15 by Greg Westbrook. And the Cowboys will start well inside their own 20-yard line. The Rams look like an inspired football team tonight. And sometimes when you have a lot of injured players, a lot of adversity, and certainly this team has had adversity throughout the entire year from the time the several players reported very late. This man threatened to leave, Vince Ferragamo. They have fought adversity all year long. But when you get a lot of injuries, sometimes every player will reach down and they'll give it just a little bit of an extra effort. And that's what it appears the Rams are doing tonight. First and 10 Dallas. Ball inside their 17-yard line. Bob Newhouse. Yard and a half. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Interestingly, Landry is sending his plays in tonight with the fullbacks, with Newhouse, the Fireplugs, instead of as is normally done with the tight ends. And as Frank mentioned, this is clearly an intense football game. Already you can see it. It harkens back to our great Thursday night game of Pittsburgh at Houston.
I think we got a good one.
On 2nd down and 8. Jimmy Newhouse, the rookie from Winston-Salem State, in there with Tony Dorsett at setback for Dallas. At Dorsett over the right side, and Dorsett bounds out over the 20-yard line to about the 22-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 4, and with all the millions watching, 70,000 plus right here at Anaheim Stadium, we'd like to welcome those of you watching on WVGA TV Channel 44 in Valdosta, Georgia. I hope that's how I pronounce it. Our newest ABC affiliate. If I didn't pronounce it right, we're still glad you're aboard.
You got it.
3rd down 4.
If you didn't, you said it.
Cowboys trailing the Philadelphia Eagles by a half a game. They'll meet next week. Out of the shotgun, Danny White has all the time in the world, but he could not find a receiver, and Jack Youngblood, the best of the pass rushing Rams, drops him all the way back to the 12-yard line. And it'll be 4th down. Dallas will have to punt.
He likes to play these Cowboys, I'll guarantee you. They were out there. Reggie Goff is the guy that is filling in for Freddie Dreyer, we mentioned earlier. He was close to that quarterback that time. They did have him well covered downfield.
Leroy Irvin, the rookie from Kansas, who bobbled the ball the first punt of Danny White, and you better believe he's been told, you keep your eyes on that pill until it's in your hand. Here's Danny White from his own end zone. Rams should have good field position. As White bangs a beauty. And White avoids a run back with a tremendous punt that they'll mark inside the 45-yard line of the Los Angeles Rams. So White has boomed it all the way from his end zone inside the 45 of Los Angeles. 4:24 remaining in the first quarter. Like Kenny Rogers. Actually, it's Gypsy Boots.
Gypsy Boots.
All right.
Or Roots.
Got a few funny folks out here. They'll show up once in a while.
He's certainly not one of them. That's normal.
Rams leading 7-0. 4:24 remaining in the first quarter. Up to the line of scrimmage they come at their own 44-yard line. Single setback to 32, Cullen Bryant. He moved, but he moved laterally. Ferragamo with a beautiful shot as the flag goes down. Pass complete to number 88, Preston Denard, but again, a flag is down. It'll be holding against the Rams. They'll mark it off.
That's what it looks like.
Well, I'll tell you, put that ball in there, Don.
He really did. I think it did go either through the hands or right by the hand. I think it was Brudig that was back there. And I think Brudig maybe thought that he could even intercept it, changed his mind, decided to knock it down, and missed the ball, and it drilled right on through.
Referee tonight is Gene Barth. We have not heard from him. We like it that way. He's not a bad guy. We just don't like to hear from him.
60 offense, holding, still first down.
Dennis Harrah playing that unusual spot. Now Harrah's gone back to guard, and Rich Saul is back in at center that Harrah was holding.
Interesting graphic. The Rams have been a tremendous first-half team, especially in the second quarter. Dallas, a tremendous second-half team. But if the Rams can keep giving, despite that holding penalty, this kind of protection of Ferragamo, he can kill you.
First and 20, the ball inside the 35-yard line of the Rams. Ferragamo floods backs to the right. Again, the man wide open, but he comes back to the screen to the left. Cullen Bryant. Flag goes down again as Bryant gets back to the original line of scrimmage and tacks on a couple, but again, a flag is down. Randy White.
Illegal lineman downfield, and it appears that Rich Saul, who tried to get back in there, is maybe hurt again, Frank.
Well, when he left, he was complaining about a possible pinched nerve in his neck. Here he grabs it again, and I think we'll see the switch. Harrah going back to center. Bill Bain coming in at right guard. But again, a flag is down and being marked off once again against the Rams. They're working their way back home.
Yes, another holding penalty, another play. They could... Here it is.
72, ineligible downfield on the pass, still first down.
Left guard, Kent Hill, got downfield before Ferragamo was able to deliver the ball to Cullen Bryant.
They could get inside their own 20 in a hurry.
Well, if they back up to the 2, we know what they're going to do back there. They've got that play worked out. They throw it to Denard coming across the middle for about 40.
First down, 30. Willie Miller, number 82. Billy Waddy, number 80. Preston Denard, number 88. They come in as wide receivers. We lose the tight end for the Rams.
Field position is very important.
Draw play. Gerald Thomas tries to get outside. He is collected there by Steve Wilson at the line of scrimmage. And recently activated, one of the great ones, Lydell Mitchell, in his 8-year career. He really put together some numbers. Released by the San Diego Chargers this year, tried to catch on with the Giants, other ball clubs, and when the Rams were so troubled last week with the loss of Wendell Tyler and, of course, Elvis Peacock, they went to Lydell Mitchell.
Didn't pass the physical with the Giants, loose knee. But one of the great ones coming out of the backfield to pick up the pass and snake yardage.
Second down, 29. Ferragamo in trouble, and he hangs one up. And Billy Waddy did not call for the fair catch, but I'm sure he felt like it out at the 33-yard line because he knew he was going to get whacked, and he did.
You know something, Kev? Sometimes it makes you wonder as you look at Waddy's statistics. Go ahead, Don.
Well, I can talk over you. Go ahead.
Well, as we watch this luck play again,
yes.
An ill-advisedly thrown pass. They go through summer training. They go through the exhibition games. They go through the long season. They're computerized. And then you win games the way Minnesota did yesterday and complete a pass like that.
Third and 22 for the Rams, 33. Waddy in the gap between the zone. He has the ball.
Yeah. Now,
Waddy. A tremendous catch and a great shot by Ferragamo right between the zone.
Yeah, Ferragamo got up off the ground. We've talked about his bad rib. But the play before this, Ed Jones really pasted him pretty well. This is really a delicate pass, a touch pass in between Wilson, as Frank mentioned, and the zone that comes back on the other side. A beautifully thrown ball, and Waddy ran a nice route. Vince, I'm really proud of you, kid. That's nice. Very impressive. He dropped it right in the well. Boom.
Ferragamo has had that touch, passing at just about 60% all year long after replacing Hayden the first game against Detroit. He also has 26 touchdown passes. Those are good numbers. First down inside the 30-yard line of the Cowboys. Here comes Cullen Bryant, right side, and Cullen Bryant taken by Ed Too Tall Jones, who's playing the best football of his career after taking a year off to he could punch a few folks out.
Well, that sure made him a better football player. Thank heavens he never fought Scott Ledoux. That was in his mind. He might have stayed in boxing had he done that.
He also handled Dennis Harrell quite well that time. And for those of you who are not familiar with Dennis Harrell, he may be one of the strongest guys maybe in the world. Who knows? He's awfully strong. Came out and set him right back on the seat of his pants.
It's all back at center, 61. Harrell has gone back to right guard. Second down and 9. In motion is Victor Hicks. The toss goes to Gerald Thomas.
Oh, good
defensive play by Mike Hagman, the man who a year ago, I'm sure you recall, took over for Thomas Henderson. And he took over for a lot of football player when he did.
Well, that was a great defensive play because they've lost field goal position unless Ferragamo can get it back on third down with 15 to go.
Ball marked just inside the 36-yard line. We're inside 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. The Rams on top, 7-0 as they went 98 yards on 11 plays. Ferragamo has the 3 wide receivers in, and he puts Willie Miller, number 82, to the right. Up at the top of your screen, you see Denard and Billy Waddy. Alan Bryant off the right side as Ferragamo plays it safe, gets to the 33-yard line where it'll be fourth down, and we will see one of the kicking units, either Frank Corral. Well, he'll come out either for the punting or the place kicking.
In profile, Jack Youngblood right there has the facial construction of Meredith, but clearly not the good looks.
You said it. And Don's legs are bigger. Fourth down, 13. Frank Corral currently out of his range for a field goal attempt. Interesting. James Jones has settled at the 10-yard line. He knows that Corral will try to time it out. We get the gun before Corral can get it off, so we will have the punt again. Nice catch, Ralph. Not a bad catch by one of our officials here tonight. There it is, the end of the first quarter. The Rams over the Dallas Cowboys, 7-0. We'll be back. Jones on fourth down as we begin the second quarter is back there cosmetically, I guess, for the Cowboys, because Frank Corral certainly will be angling for the sidelines. It would not be a bad idea for the Rams, even though it'd be a little chancy to maybe throw the ball. Since they've already shown that they were going to punt, they did so after the gun had ended the first quarter.
Possibly trying to get that hope you jump off sides and get 5 more yards. However, it would only be a 50-yard attempt from where he is right now.
Corral not having the banner year he did as a rookie 3 years ago as a field goal kicker.
Yeah, they're going to let it run down. Back up 5.
They're looking for a Cowboy offside. Then they might try the field goal. They don't get it, so Corral hangs it up. And this is going to get into the end zone, and they are going to net 13 yards off that punt. Strange series by the Rams. Ferragamo had the hot hand on a third down and long. He decided to run Cullen Bryant right side. Remind you, next Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports will have its second week of the season. 5:30 Eastern and Pacific, 4:30 Central Time, a special 1-hour edition at a very special time. The U.S. versus Argentina in amateur boxing. Very much that over most of these ABC stations. ABC's award-winning Wide World of Sports.
Just made a critical point, Frank. Strange series of downs. Third down, long yardage. Ferragamo consistently hitting his wide-open receivers. Runs Cullen Bryant. And then they punt. And Corral might have kicked that.
This is Timmy Newsom. And Newsom tries to bring it back inside. Gets a couple of yards. A little second down and 8. Let's take a look at the stats. And you won't be amazed by the time of possession. It's almost double on the part of the Rams. They used 5 minutes on that 98-yard drive and -10 passing for Danny White. That leads us to the obvious. The Rams lead 7-0. Again, the Cowboys a half game behind the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Eastern Division. And they will meet next Sunday in Dallas. The Rams out of it as far as the division is concerned for the first time in 8 years, but they can get in on a wild card if they can win 1 or 2.
Good defensive play there.
Newsom nailed at the 35. A gain of a couple, it'll be 3rd and 5.
Zach Reynolds is the middle linebacker there, and they really tried to had a pretty good block on him. He came back off, nailed him in the middle. That might be the whole key. We were talking about at the top of the show that if the offensive line of Dallas or the Rams can be outstanding tonight, then that team would certainly have the advantage. And so far, it certainly has been that Ram offensive line that's contained Dallas's defense.
Tony Hill, the leading receiver for the Cowboys. Top of your screen, he's number 80. Out to the right, Drew Pearson. And Butch Johnson is also in there, number 86. Here comes the blitz. And Danny White read it all right. Tried to get it to Butch Johnson, and quickly covering was Nolan Cromwell.
Another guy who has suffered a little bit with a bad ankle, but what a great athlete he is. And terrific defensive football position to knock that ball away.
Well, we talked about him, I think, last time we mentioned he was a decathlon man. He was also a quarterback and holds an NCAA record for rushing as a quarterback.
Now, I would have guessed that.
And he's troubled by a damaged ankle. You saw him last week in the highlights. Bad snap from center. He had to run it in. You either pass right or run left in the Rams system. What quickness he had.
White bangs it. Leroy Irvin. Fair catch at the 35. And the Rams will have, once again, field position. 40-yard punt by White. Again, not long, but he hangs it high, and it demands the fair catch.
Well, Leroy Irvin is learning, Don. We'll be back in just a moment.
Back at Anaheim Stadium, Frank Gifford, along with Howard Cosell and Don Meredith. Carnival atmosphere for the fans.
Those kids are pretty good, man. They've got the tricks, got the moves.
But for the Rams, the Carnival will have to wait. They have to win tonight, or they have to win next week against Atlanta. Unless Detroit should lose next week to Green Bay. They'll make it back in as a wild card. First down 10. Cullen Bryant.
Oh, they caught him in a good defense.
Bryant, a 238-pounder to midfield. First down.
If they're guessing, they guessed right that time. D.D. Lewis left in his linebacker position to go out and put a short coverage on Waddy, and they ran right where he was.
They've got to capitalize while they have all the momentum and they're dominating the game. An end zone replay. Don?
Well, you just see that's Kent Hill, number 72, to come out there. He said, where is Dede? He's not here to block. Dede had gone out in front, as I mentioned, with Waddy, so he had to come all the way across over for Randy White that finally made the stop.
And Thurman Munson, all 170 pounds of him, or rather Dennis Thurman, I'm forever confusing that, but Dennis Thurman slid under there. First down, midfield. Mike Gooman is in, number 44, set back for the Rams. Ferragamo rifles it out, complete, inside the 45-yard line. Preston Denard has the reception, and a gain of 7.
Do you think they got Aaron Mitchell's attention a while ago? He was 15 yards downfield.
He was playing so far off. In the meantime, go back to that last series where Frank suggested it was a strange series and they didn't capitalize. You're going for a playoff berth. You can't risk a series like that. That's why this series is so important for the Rams.
Rams in control of this football game against the Dallas Cowboys that have really matured over the course of the season. This is Billy Waddy in motion on third down and second down and 3. This is Truman, the rookie from Penn State. Truman has a first down inside the 40, upended by Bob Rooney.
The development of this kid has been very interesting. We talked about it last week and when we had the Rams against New Orleans. He didn't start tonight. They moved Thomas to the halfback position because he's been troubled with a damaged leg. The number of injuries that have ravaged the Rams is almost unreal. But Gooman is coming on.
Performed well last week against Buffalo when Elvis Peacock went down. 90 yards for the rookie from Penn State, Mike Gooman. First and 10, 39-yard line of the Cowboys. Ferragamo again puts backs to the left and looks right. Waddy's in a crowd, and Charlie Waters a little hesitant about going up for it. And while Charlie Waters is having a great year, there's still some question about the knee that he had surgery on a year ago. Here he is, 5 interceptions on the year, and he is really the leader out there. He's got a bunch of youngsters back there with him, or he had most of the season until Benny Barnes came back a few weeks ago. Like they called that secondary before Barnes came back, Charlie's Angels. He had some kids with him. Aaron Mitchell, Dennis Thurman, Steve Wilson. That was the secondary that the Cowboys began the season with. Charlie Waters, of course, a 10-year veteran. It's second down and 10. Again, flooding backs to the left. Ferragamo comes back to the right with the screen. Cullen Bryant gets about 6 out of it. Going to be third down and 4. D.D. Lewis The Wiseman of the linebackers for the Cowboys makes the stop.
He is a clever old one, I'll tell you. He knows how to fight off tackles, and he knows where the ball is.
There he is. E.D. Lewis. He's played in 5 Super Bowls, 22 playoff games.
And Benny Barnes was right in with him, Giff.
3rd and 4. The ball at the 33-yard line of the Cowboys. Rams again on top, 7-0. She joined us early. With us, we had a 98-yard drive for the Rams. Ferragamo again wide open. It's Billy Waddy over the middle. And somebody just not picking up. He cannot be that wide open in a Dallas Cowboy Tom Landry defense. Dennis Thurman had to make the stop, but not until the first down was accomplished at the 19.
It's a good pattern, Frank. You see Waddy on the outside. A little delay pattern to come back in. Charlie Waters, you caught just the glimpse of to go to the outside. The linebackers are not there. Here's another look at it. Brunick goes to his right. They don't get any rush on him, man. He's coming right across the middle, wide open. Good pass route. Plenty of time to throw.
Waddy, 4 receptions thus far in the night, 84 yards. At the Cowboys, 19-yard line. Gerald Thomas has a little quick opener and picks up 3 yards, moving down inside the 16-yard line.
You're looking at a man who I think is having his greatest year in coaching. For the past 7 years, he's never been as active in actively coaching his players as he has been this year, using the theory of delegation. He found this year a fresh challenge for him, a team that wasn't supposed to be nearly as good as it has become. He's a remarkable coach, Don Landry. I guess everyone in football knows.
The wide receivers, Denard, Waddy, split to the right. Again, Ferragamo works his back to the right, comes back, and he had wide open Terry Nelson, who was just activated last week, but he was really open as he slid along the line of scrimmage.
Dents would certainly be the first one to admit that one was maybe one of his poorest throws tonight. He did have him open, and contrary to the kind of a touch pass we saw him throw earlier down the sideline, that one he tried to drill. Nelson couldn't get to it.
3rd down, 7. Both teams adjust. Dallas anticipating the pass. Mike Newman, the rookie setback, comes in for the Rams, number 44, and we have the 3 wide receiver offense. Billy Waddy, 80, Willie Miller, 82, Preston Denard, 88. Ferragamo tries to go over the middle to Gooman, incomplete. It's 4th down, and we should see Frank Corral now. Frank Corral has had his problems this year. We mentioned that. He has missed his last 3 from distances of 39, 43, and 49.
Frank, I think he's got a slightly damaged leg, which may have been why they didn't go for the long field goal in the prior series. On the other hand, Saul isn't in there to snap, which may have been a reason, too.
33-yard attempt for Frank Corral. Dennis Harrop, the snapper. Nolan Cromwell is the holder. High snap. Cromwell gets it down, but Corral pulls it to the left, and the Cowboys get out again.
They dodged a couple of silver bullets is right.
Frank Corral. And you can see the disgust in his own face. We'll be back in a moment. For the Dallas Cowboys, the import of this game, if they lose tonight, they have to go in next week. And to win the division, they'll have to beat Atlanta by 26 points.
How about Philadelphia?
Philadelphia by 26 points.
It's confusing,
right? The 5th tiebreaker will come into play. We'll explain a little more about that later. But they would like to do it tonight. And they would pull into a tie with Philadelphia with a win tonight. On 1st and 10, Danny White whips it out to Ron Springs, and Springs steps out of bounds at the 27-yard line. He picks up 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3. The Rams moved up and down the field, but they were only able to hang up 7 points, and they may look back at that later in the game.
That's the key point, right there. Blown opportunities inevitably catch up with you, especially when you're playing this Dallas organization. So good from top to bottom. Tex Schramm, Gil Brandt, Tom Landry.
That's Tom on bottom.
No.
Oh, I was just checking.
Second down 3. Tony Dorsett. He got away from one Ram, Reggie Goss, but he was picked off by Johnny Johnson, the rookie #1 draft pick from the University of Texas. And telling you about the games that are coming up next week, well, we have a beauty down in San Diego. That AFC is something. There's 7 teams eligible now for the playoffs. Nothing has been decided, not even a wild card. Pittsburgh Steelers are still alive, and of course the San Diego Chargers, no matter what, they're going to have to defeat Oakland next Monday night to win the Western Division of the AFC.
Now, wait a minute.
Pittsburgh. I'll tell you, I've been reading too many names.
That's right. Wait a minute. Here we go. Danny White.
Must be Pittsburgh. Third down and 6. White.
Right there.
Preston Pearson, and Pearson, his 19th reception of the season, and his 9th first down that he's picked up for the Cowboys over the year.
That's exactly why in the very opening of the show we selected Preston Pearson as the third down receiver. There's nobody better in that capacity.
Nice block by Drew Pearson right there to pick off a defensive back and let Preston pick up a few extra yards. This guy can also throw the ball. Do you know that? Preston's got a pretty good arm.
Option pass play.
There you go.
Very effective.
Maybe in the old 2-minute drill. Who knows?
Like Gifford and Horney.
First down 10, Dallas. Ball at their 43-yard line. Danny White times it out and it's picked off. Picked off by Rod Perry. Rod Perry stepped right in front of the intended receiver, zipped down the sideline, and the Rams get another major break. They'll have the ball at the Cowboys' 34-yard line. Rod Perry's 5th interception of the year.
What a marvelous piece of timing.
Yeah, they made this break because he was wide open. Rod Perry's back there, brave enough to step up in front. The ball was a little bit underthrown. And here's Rod Perry. And Drew Pearson, the fellow we mentioned a while ago, terrific receiver, runs good route. You saw he had to turn a little bit. The ball was behind him, and Rod Perry was right there. Pushed out of bounds. Pat Donovan knocked him out of bounds.
Cowboys again on defense in their own territory. The big toss. Earl Thomas. Big opening. Goodbye. Goodbye. Broke that tackle at the 23-yard line. Gerald Thomas, the rookie from San Jose State, roars in.
Good fence set up.
Cullen Bryant, a tremendous block on Ed Jones.
And I think, Frank, you'll see that Terry Nelson coming in a motion man also cut back in. That's Brunig. They caught up on the inside. D.D. Lewis right there. You're seeing this young man run for his first touchdown of the year. That was tough. Dennis Thurman also missed him. Earl Thomas.
I'll tell you, Cullen Bryant ought to get overtime for this year. He's been the only healthy back to that all year long. Steady, dependable. He can block, he can run. He's a good receiver, and he's, more importantly, always there. Frank Corral for the conversion. And they get 14-0 the Rams with 7:23 remaining in the first half. And the Rams, for the first time in 8 years, will not win the Western Division of the NFC, but they want to get into the playoffs as a wild card. You can read the graphic. The longest Ram TD run. They've lived by the pass this year with the injured backs. And, of course, the first professional touchdown for Gerald Thomas, the rookie. Frank Corral to kick off. There's James Jones, another rookie for the Dallas Cowboys, averaging a little over 22 yards per return. Corral hangs it deep, high, off to the right, and Steve Wilson will bring it upfield. And Wilson, upended, falls forward to the 19-yard line, hustling down there. Walt Arnold, a rookie from New Mexico for the Los Angeles Rams.
Our booth is so high up, there appear to be midgets playing down there. But whether they are midgets or not, and certainly they're not, this Rams team is as fired up as any team I have seen this year.
Indication might be that Dallas has received kickoffs 3 times, and they haven't made it back to the 20-yard line yet. So they're telling you they're getting fired up. They're getting down the field. Good special team play.
Dallas first and 10 at the 20-yard line. 7:14 remaining in the half. With Pearson Put to the right by the play called by Tom Landry. Robert Newhouse. And the little bowling ball type gets out to the 23-yard line for 3 yards. We'll call it 2nd down and 7.
There are the two men, Will Thomas and Cullen Bryant. Bryant, he hit that guy a ton in Thomas's run.
Ed Jones is a big man. He ought to get an assist on that. Mark it at the 23-yard line. Cullen Bryant is big. He's way over 235. He does a lot of weight work. And yet he broke 10 seconds for the 100 when he was at the University of Colorado. 2nd and 7. Tony Dorsett. Dorsett goes down in the arms of Jack Reynolds at the original line of scrimmage, a loss back inside the 20.
You talk about gang tackling. Whoa, absolutely. That's the way to choke off a runner like Dorsett.
Well, they strung it out. I guess you give a lot of credit to Jack Youngblood to keep that play from getting on the outside of him. And you see Reynolds coming off. He was the guy that came back in and turned it in.
Reynolds comes out. The pass defensive unit for the Rams comes in. Preston Pearson comes in for the Cowboys. He works well out of the Cowboys backfield, as we've seen over the years. 14-year veteran that was actually waived earlier in the season. Nobody claimed him. Said he wouldn't play for anyone else. And there he is, number 26, back in the Cowboy lineup. Flag is down. Time may have expired.
Well, that's a good indication, too. Things are not clicking. You know, it's funny. Talking to Danny Reeves before this game, I said, Danny, well, you guys are going to blow them out. He says, man, you never know. He says, we're like a Cracker Jack box. He says, you never know what you're going to get till you open that thing up. He said, silly things like we're wearing blue jerseys tonight. They lost the last time they wore blue jerseys to Frank's team, the New York Giants. The Cowboys have never liked to wear blue. You think that's just basic superstition?
I find this vastly irrelevant.
Still 3rd down.
Well, he was just marking it off, you know. He was stepping off a penalty. That's good. 50 yards.
And that team on top is the top scoring team through 14 games in the entire NFL. Danny White now into the shotgun. 3rd and 15. Here comes a free man. White reads the blitz and tries to get out to Butch Johnson, but the blitz came too fast from the outside, and White just had to dump it off. And White will stay in because he's in there to do the punting on 4th down.
Yeah, you can certainly see Tom's reaction to that.
You know what he's thinking?
No.
Why does this have to happen now? I've still got another week to go and the Eagles to play. Ernie Stott.
Tom had a quick word with Ernie Stoutner, the Hall of Famer, the old Pittsburgh Steeler who directs the Cowboys defensive unit. Danny White in familiar territory in his own end zone. Little punt. Leroy Irvin settles in at midfield. White gets another good punt, but it's low, and Irvin will have a chance from his 40-yard line.
Good move.
Oh-ho! Flag is down. Could be a clip. Irvin to the 25-yard line, and they'll probably bring that back.
And what a break for the Cowboys. Kid ran that well. He's learning.
It really is a shame to see him call it back because he did run it well, followed his blockers, picked them up in there, accelerated when he had to, and a nice run. Too bad.
Leroy Irvin, we told you, rookie 3rd-round draft pick for the Rams out of Kansas. Disappointed as the clipping penalty marked off by referee Gene Barth. Here's the call.
Personal foul, clipping, number 36 on the run back.
Well, that's interesting. They don't have a 36, so they can't always catch the numbers when the traffic is so fast, I suppose. But in any event, when we come back, the Rams will have 1st and 10 at their own 31.
Recognize that fella? Davey Lopes, 2nd baseman, Los Angeles Dodgers. Sorry about what happened against Houston that last game, Davey.
Well, that stunned this city, didn't it?
It sure did.
5:25 remaining in the first half of this game. An important game for both the Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. The Rams on top 14-0. 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line. Preston Denard in motion. Gerald Thomas, the right side. Cuts back a little further inside than he would have liked to, but he saw an opening there, and he gets out to the 35-yard line for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. Bob Bruni gets the bottom of that pile.
Frank, don't you like the way that little fire plug Thomas runs?
He is a little bit like Newhouse, except he moves maybe a little more quickly. He's 5'10", a 223-pounder.
That's bigger, stronger.
He was another third-round draft pick, as Urban was. Rams like to collect those 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th-round draft picks, and they've made a lot of them over the years.
That's the way they built the team, stockpiling draft choices.
2nd down, 6. Terry Nelson in motion. Wide open is Denard again, way in front of Aaron Mitchell, who in the coverage, it appeared, had man for man.
Lovely way to get a guy man-to-man. They started out with the tight end Nelson on the left side of their line, put him in motion. That changes Dallas's defensive coverage immediately, and they leave him out there man-to-man.
I'll tell you, the Rams are blowing the Cowboys away thus far.
They really are. Much more imaginative offensive team this year for the Rams. They've been criticized for a number of years as not being able to play exciting football, but they certainly answered that claim this year.
Steve Wilson has moved in a left cornerback, the second-year man for Howard, number 45 for the Cowboys on 1st down and 10. Rams from their own 43. Ferragamo screens out to the right.
Good play.
Denard breaks the tackle and gets to midfield. Good running by Preston Denard. Gain of 8.
Another example of an offensive play you won't see too often. Let's see if we can watch this one unfold. Out to the outside, trying to set up on a quick screen, a little fake back into the backfield. You saw him trying to get out in front. That was Jackie Slater, number 78, and Harrow out in front. That's good imaginative offensive football.
Glad you mentioned Jackie Slater. Hi, Merry Christmas to all of you. He is so unsung in proportion to his ability. He is one of the great linemen in this league.
4 minutes remaining in the first half. Cullen Bryant, big opening, but he can't get to it quickly enough. As closing down for the Dallas Cowboys,
Big John
Dutton, who has been used primarily in a running situation for the Cowboys as they move people in and out of the lineup.
You never know for sure, Frank. They keep saying they're really pleased with that trade, and Dutton's learning. He's moving in from the end to the tackle, and yet he's not been able to totally get Larry Cole out of that lineup. So it makes you wonder how pleased they really are with. They gave up an awful lot to get Dutton.
They did. A 1st and a 2nd round draft pick. The trading deadline of a year ago. 1st and 2nd round picks. First went to the Colts. 3rd down, 1. We should see the big man. There he is. Gerald Thomas. Thomas does it again, and he breaks the tackle and gets to the 40. And Gerald Thomas is putting on a show.
He almost broke that one. Guy Brown, number 59, tripped him up right before he was able to get away.
He is having a tremendous game.
Good blocks in the line, you see. There's a good block on Bruni. Gosh, who is that?
Cullen Bryant.
Oh, Cullen. What a nice block on Bruni coming across in the middle there.
Gerald Thomas, he first went to UCLA before he went to San Jose State.
You see what he did to Dennis Thurman there?
I really was, that's Bruni just going off.
He's being assisted off the field.
I said, that's got to be one of those big offensive linemen pulling out there. I saw the 2, and I said, wait a minute, that's got to be Kent Hill. In fact, it was Cullen Bryant coming out of the backfield. Frank was mentioning earlier, I think he weighs over 240 pounds, Frank. And that's about what Bruni weighs.
Rams moving at will up and down the field. However, they have only been able to hang up 14 points with 2:47 remaining in the first half. Bruce Huther, 57, in for Bruning at middle linebacker. Big, strong, but not much speed. Ferragamo unloads one. Oh, my beautiful shot to Billy Waddy. It was dead on target. I don't know whether Ferragamo even saw it.
Oh, my gosh, what a beautiful throw.
Ferragamo racing all the way down the field to congratulate Billy Waddy. And it was Billy Waddy in the playoffs a year ago with a little more than 2 minutes remaining that caught a 50-yard touchdown pass from Ferragamo to knock the Cowboys out of the playoffs.
You're looking at a team that has come together tonight. You give Ferragamo time, as we've told you, he will kill you. And
Steve Wilson was just taken apart back there. He's had a full hamstring.
The cornerback weakness we spoke of.
He won't see a ball thrown any better than this one. He never broke stride, dropped it right in his pocket, says there's 6.
Waddy has that great speed, and it's hard for even Ferragamo to overthrow him. If he takes the normal pass drop, that time Waddy just sprinted right under it. Frank Grau for the conversion. Rams have hung up 21 unanswered points and 2:34 remains in the first half. You got it, Billy.
Who could blame them?
And it was dramatic to Billy Waddy. Dead on stride from almost midfield by Ferragamo. And again, the Rams with a win tonight will clinch a wild card spot in the National Football Conference. There's James Jones. Settles in near the goal line. Frank Corral hits it high. And there it is. Gathering ice, and it drops into the arms of James Jones with the 2. And Jones out to the 27-yard line where the Cowboys will try to get their act together because they are being blown away by the Los Angeles Rams playing some very passionate football.
This hasn't been done to the Cowboys this year but one other time. That was against Denver when the Cowboys were ripped 41-20 early in the season. You normally don't do this to a Dallas team. But this team tonight, the Rams, have come together. Always they have had great personnel. We've talked about the way they built the team, stockpiling draft choices, and Ferragamo, with the kind of protection he's getting, becomes unstoppable.
1st and 10. They mark it inside the 24-yard line. Tony Hill split out to the right. Drew Pearson up there at the top of your screen, now in motion. White. Tony Hill, and it's complete out to the 44-yard line. First down, Dallas. Heading towards the 2-minute warning. The Cowboys will have to hustle to get a play off. Sticks are being moved up. They will try to get the play off. They will not. The 2-minute warning sounds. Cowboys have their 3 timeouts remaining. Danny White moves to the sideline. And they would certainly like to get something on the scoreboard before they go to the locker room. The Dallas Cowboys in deep trouble in Anaheim, California. A very emotional Rams team has hung up 21 points. More than that, the Cowboys have not answered offensively whatsoever. They've had 68 yards. Again, this is the highest scoring team in the NFL, the Cowboys. And they are being mauled by the Los Angeles Rams. 2 minutes remaining in the half. Out of the shotgun, Danny White. 1st and 10. The ball inside the 45-yard line. Inside handoff. Tony Dorsett tries to use his speed to the outside. Nothing doing as Leroy Irvin, who's made the start tonight for Pat Thomas, is up there quickly to dump Tony Dorsett for a loss.
Remember his early game nervousness? Irvin, it's vanished now. He's feeling himself. This whole team is.
Cowboys not in any significant hurry either. Now they leap offside.
Now Tony was. The rest of the guys weren't in a big hurry.
Ball in motion against the Cowboys, and let's see what the Rams want to take it. They probably do.
If they don't shape up, let me not hear a lot of harsh words.
Ball start, 33 offense, still 2nd down.
They'll get some icy
They're
stairs.
going to get some really cold stairs this next week. Woo!
Give you some idea of the way the Rams defense is playing. The last 3 times Dorsett has carried the ball. 3-yard losses on every play.
Consistency, that's what they strive for.
Wise guy.
Well, that's what Tom always said. Be consistent.
2nd and 18. Ball at the 37-yard line of the Cowboys. Out of the shotgun. Pressure on Danny White. Throws another interception. Nolan Cromwell's 8th of the season. And the Rams are back knocking at the door again at the 34-yard line. We have 1:22 remaining in the first half. The Rams have their 3 timeouts.
This is the finest performance I have seen by any team in the National Football League this year. End zone replay, Don.
Well, if we carry this all the way through, you're going to see the frustration of the quarterback who's just thrown his 23rd, is that right? 23rd interception. Well, he almost spikes Cromwell when he's down. It's one of those illegal penalties. Cromwell would seem to be just looking for one. And then he says, I'm so sick and tired of you getting in the way where I'm trying to throw the ball. Not very smooth tonight, guys.
Nolan Cromwell, if he is not the best free safety around, he is approaching it. Rams need to move closer for Frank Corral to put up another 3, but they have the big gun of Vince Ferragamo. We have already seen it.
He's not afraid to use it either.
Under pressure, steps into the pocket.
There he got it.
Spinning. Oh! Is Preston Denard.
How about this?
Oh.
Oh, you ever see a team go crazy and its fans? Look at them.
They don't care much for Dallas here in Los Angeles. They've met so many times for the playoffs. And, of course, the Rams knocked the Cowboys out last year. But the Cowboys, in 5 previous playoff meetings, have a 3-2 edge.
So pretty. Once again, he's coming back across the middle.
He's not that fast, Preston Denard, but look at that concentration. That is a hard ball to handle because you have to break your fall and not have the ball jarred loose, and he did a beautiful job, Preston Denard.
And Ferragamo once again did a wonderful job of getting away from a fairly good rush to step up in the pocket and get that ball off.
Frank Corral. And Dallas must be stunned. They're down 28-0. 1:16 remaining in the first half. And we'll be returning to a wild Anaheim Stadium here in California after this message from the National Football League. That announcement brought to you by Drew Pearson and the National Football League. Here it is again.
Yeah, you saw Dutton, number 78, was the guy that got his hands up, danced through the ball, but that is an unbelievable catch. Preston loves to play this, Cowboys. Let's just watch the catch one more time. Frank mentioned, I think, a key word, too, the concentration. He sees it's just a little out front. Boy, you love to have receivers.
Throw
like
wasn't that shabby either, my
it was
friend.
not that shabby.
All right. Frank Corral will kick it off. 1:16 remaining here in the half. The Rams on top 28-0. A lot of excitement in Anaheim, and one of the all-time #1 draft picks has just walked into the booth.
Question about it.
Low and on the ground, fielded there quickly by the Cowboys. And Jay Saldi explodes up to midfield. Jay Saldi, who came up a few years ago as a free agent, and he has made himself quite a Cowboy.
You think this job is hard work, Giffer? You're looking at perhaps the most beautiful lady in the world.
What do you mean,
now.
perhaps?
Perhaps. I mean, I don't want to offend any. Bo Derek.
You know, I once doubled her husband in a movie. I thought I'd drop that in there.
That should mean something to somebody.
Saturday's hero.
I have decided that it should not be 10, it should be 100.
Cowboys good field position. They have 3 timeouts. Seconds ticking off. 1:10 remaining in the half. Danny White. And it's ruled complete there, caught by Tony Hill at the 42-yard line.
I think he's an extraordinary receiver. Tony Hill that time was dancing around right over the sideline. Saw him wait. Danny White trying to come back. Tony's a guy, Thrill Hill they call him, and man, he'll put some thrills in it. 24 years old, young guy, got great speed, good move.
High school quarterback not too far from here in Anaheim, Long Beach. First went up to Stanford, broke all of Gene Washington's receiving records there. But like the other Cowboys tonight, he is absolutely stunned by the performance of the Rams. Second down and 3. White. And complete once again. Tony Hill stepping out of bounds at the 23-yard line, stopping the clock with 58 seconds.
This team is as professionally coached as any team can be. There's no quit in them. 28-0 seems impossible, even for the Cowboys. But 24-14 was the halftime score on a Thursday night game with San Diego leading Dallas and Sunday night game, and Dallas exploded in the second half and crushed the Chargers. So getting a score now is critical for Dallas.
And we don't mean 3. They need the bundle. First down and 10. 23-yard line of the Rams. Out of the shotgun. Danny White going for it, and had he been able to release that ball, Nolan Cromwell might have got another interception. He had timed it out beautifully, running stride for stride downfield with the intended receiver.
Young blood coming, number 85, coming back around, hits Danny's arm as he tries to release it. Couldn't quite get out there. It was Jim Cooper, 61, trying to block on Youngblood. Raphael says, well, if we can't get 7, at least let me have a shot at 3.
Raphael set his own personal mark, career mark last week with a 52-yarder against Oakland. I'm ready. 53 seconds. Second down and 10. Ball at the 23-yard line. Shotgun once again. Eddie White, wide open. Butch Johnson steps out of bounds inside the 15-yard line as the flag goes down.
Maybe calling an offensive push-off that time.
You got it. In a range of pours. Floods the area.
You once doubled for John Derrick?
Saturday's hero. Yeah, we had a lot of SC football players in there. Aldo Ray, that was his first. They went around, discovered people like that. Bo wasn't even around.
Oh, well, she is now.
86, offensive pass interference, still second down.
Second down and 20. Ball at the 33-yard line. Matter of fact, I ran into one of my former teammates who was also in that movie. Not that we want to dwell on that movie. Wilbur Robertson.
Yeah. Old quarterback.
On second and 20. Tony Hill overthrown.
Couldn't quite get up there to get that one.
It was a high snap from center, and clearly the ball was not well thrown.
Got a little pressure, too. They sent a couple of guys in that they weren't expecting. Pretty full blitz down the middle. The pass was there.
It'll be third down and 20. You'll see the pass rush. Ram team fired up tonight, both offensively and defensively. Again, Dallas loses tonight, and they have to go in to play Philadelphia next Sunday. They'll be a game behind. To win the division, they'd have to not only beat Philadelphia, they'd have to beat them by 26 points. Third down, 20. Eddie White steps inside the pocket. Fires high and incomplete down at the 15-yard line. It'll be fourth down.
They can't cut it. Not yet against this team. The Rams maintain their record of being devastating in the second quarter. 21 points they have run up.
38 seconds remaining in the half. Landry does not want the three. Raphael Septien stays on the bench. Out comes an extra wide receiver. Butch Johnson, Drew Pearson, and Tony Hill will all be in there. We don't need you now, Raphael. We're down 28-0.
Butch Johnson is the great playmaker.
This should be incomplete. The Rams will have about 25 seconds in good field position. Butch Johnson was hanging there, and the ball hung also incomplete. The Rams will have the football with 31 seconds. They'll have it at their own 33-yard line, and the way they're playing, they could put some more points up.
They really could, and you know in a situation like that, they're going to go to Butch Johnson. He has the ability to make the remarkable catch, the big play.
Well, they scored the last time in 6 seconds, so they can score about 4 or 5 more times here.
Ferragamo, he has been hot tonight, but you have to credit that offensive line for the Los Angeles Rams. They have really protected him. Ferragamo, 11 of 16, 229 yards. Out to the 40-yard line. That's Gooman, a rookie from Penn State. So the Rams are currently content with their 28 points.
I'm a little surprised at that.
No, I'm not at all.
They might get greedy, I thought.
No, they're too smart to do that. Add an insult to injury as it is. They don't want to embarrass somebody. They've been embarrassed this first half.
And the Rams will let the seconds tick off. And they lead the field to a tremendous ovation. And they lead with a 28-0 lead over the Dallas Cowboys. Stick around for some interesting halftime activities.
Way up back live in Anaheim, where the score at half halftime, incredibly, the Rams 28, Dallas nothing. Tonight's halftime features are going to include some of the top plays of yesterday and some of the top games. And tonight's halftime features are being brought to you by Metropolitan.
Perfect.
Metropolitan really stands by you with insurance for your life, your health, your auto, your home, and of course, your retirement. The quarterback of the day, Tommy Kramer, Minnesota Vikings. Spectacular performance, miracle victory for the Vikes over the Browns. Is the way Kramer operated throughout the afternoon. You see the stats. 456 yards, 4 touchdowns. Incredible performance. And this was illustrative of it. A long gainer to number 85, Sammy White. But in the clutch, Kramer appeared unstoppable. Trailing 23-15, this touchdown pass to Ahmad Rashad. But that takes us to the most dramatic play of the day, because the Vikes were in a desperate situation. They had 14 seconds in which to go 80 yards. Watch closely. Tommy Kramer right there to tight end Joe Sensor, and then the lateral to Ted Brown, all the way up past midfield to the 46-yard line of the Browns. 5 seconds left in the game. Now watch Kramer. A desperation pass, about as far as he could throw it. 3 of the Vikes down there, 4 of the Browns. The ball tipped, and to Ahmad Rashad, and the victory. The outstanding receiver on the day, Wallace Francis of the Atlanta Falcons. Now those Falcons are playing. They won their 9th in a row, 35-10. Bartkowski with another brilliant day. Throwing right there, deep downfield to Wallace Francis. 33-yard gain on the play. He was on the receiving end of the pass of the day, Francis was. Bartkowski from his own 19. All the way downfield to Francis, and he rambles in for the score. And so 81 yards on the play, touchdown. The rusher of the day, as he has been for so much of the year, the most valuable player in the league, the franchise, Earl Campbell, as Houston beat Green Bay by a score of 22-3. And look at 34 go. Remember what we've told you? Don't try to stop them one-on-one. Stop them that way. Gang tackle them. Otherwise, it's hopeless. And on the whole day, he rambled for 181 yards on 36 carries. The oil is behind Earl Campbell, an easy victory. The defensive play of the day, the former Jet, number 44, Burgess Owens, Oakland Raiders, leading them to the 24-21 victory over Denver. This was a fake field goal attempt. Robinson to throw. Owens read the play perfectly, picked it off, 58 yards, touchdown, and that was really the difference as Oakland won it. Burgess Owens. The kick return of the day, executed by Ray Williams in the Silverdome in Pontiac, as Detroit won 27-14 over Tampa Bay. Now watch this. Gary Premian had kicked off to the 9-yard line, fielded by the rookie Ray Williams. You saw him running left there, bursting through open space, all the way downfield, eluding Curtis Jordan, cutting back. Touchdown, and Ray Williams, the kick return of the day. The games of the day. Let's begin with the big one in Foxborough. Buffalo at New England. And the Pats desperately needing a victory to stay alive. The Pats leading 7-0 here. Mike Hawkins, 59, blitzing Joe Ferguson. Still in the first quarter, remember. And a sprained ankle for Joe Ferguson. Had to be helped off the field. Day-to-day proposition as to whether or not he'll be able to play next week in the critical final game for the Bills. Without Ferguson, the Bills were helpless. Here, still in the first half, Kavanaugh hitting the all-world tight end, Russ Francis, 14-0 the Pats. Then in the third quarter, Kavanaugh from the shotgun, finding number 32, Andy Johnson. He bursts in for the score. The Pats went on to win it easily, 24-2. At Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh also struggling to keep its playoff hopes alive against the Kansas City Chiefs. First quarter action, score 0-0. Bradshaw to 85, Calvin Sweeney. Hit from behind, fumble, and watch. Number 88, the practically perfect wide receiver, Lynn Swann, picks it off. That set the stage for this play. Bradshaw, injuries and all, did not have a bad day. When he has to throw in the clutch, especially with Stallworth out, he throws to Lynn Swann. Touchdown. The Steelers led 7-0. But in the fourth quarter, the Chiefs had come back. Were leading 16-14. Bradshaw with the handoff to number 20, Rocky Blyer. This will be Rocky's last year, and that's the way he wants to go out. A winning player as he's been all of his life. And you'll see the Steelers next Monday night at San Diego against the Chargers. What a showdown game. The upset of the day, the New Orleans Saints winning their first game of the season against the hapless Jets. It was fourth quarter action. New Orleans leading 14-13. But Richard Todd scrambling, and you saw him move the football wisely to the left hand. And he went in for the score, and the Jets were leading 20-14. But the Saints, working against that terrible, swirling Shea Stadium wind, came right back. Archie Manning to Jimmy Rogers. Rogers went 24 yards. And that set up this 1-yard touchdown burst by Tony Galbraith. That gave the Saints their first victory of the season. And the Saints loved it.
At halftime in Anaheim, California, a shocking score. Los Angeles 28, Dallas nothing. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Datsun, where you'll find that in all, the 1981 Datsun's the greatest economy of all is quality, and by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. We'll be returning with the second half kickoff and a visit with Bo Derek. And after this word from our local station, stay with us.
This is your classic case, of course, of Beauty and the Beast. Bo Derek talks with me while Gifford and Meredith die of envy. I'd like you to explain why you're here and why you like football.
I'm here. I was invited by Georgia Frontieri, and we were in our box, and then we came up and said hello to you.
People, though, know you now so well, and you are, in fact, a football fan, which I think is the key point, aren't you?
I am a football fan. I'm a sports fan in general. This is the first live game I've been to, though. The very first.
A lot more exciting than watching it on television.
I always thought that with the instant replays and everything, it was worth staying home. But it's the excitement is very different.
All right, we've got to go back to the game. Stay with us, huh?
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Giffer.
Set to go for the second half, and you better believe that the Dallas Cowboys had the X and O's heating up the blackboards in there because everything the Rams did worked. They moved the ball on the ground. They scored on a 34-yard run. Gerald Thomas, Billy Waddy, 40-yard touchdown pass from Ferragamo. Preston Denard, a 34-yard touchdown pass. Cullen Bryant got it all started with a 4-yard run. And Raphael Seption trots onto the field for the first time tonight. And again, the importance of this game, a win by the Rams tonight, they qualify as a wild card entry in the National Football Conference. Could, for some reason, they lose this game and then lose next week to Atlanta. Detroit would be alive. Were they able to beat Green Bay? For the Dallas Cowboys, a loss tonight. They go in a game behind Philadelphia next Sunday in Dallas. And in a game where the fifth tiebreaker would be in effect for the Dallas Cowboys, they'd have to win by 26 to win the Eastern Division of the NFC. You think that's all easy?
Yeah.
You try it sometime.
I think if Dallas loses tonight, they play the Rams in a couple of weeks.
Raphael Seption drills it into the end zone. And here comes Drew Hill.
Good
Drew Hill taken there at the 15-yard line, hustling down. Anthony Dickinson for the Dallas Cowboys. Let's take a look at the stats. We don't have to tell you, they're all Los Angeles in every respect.
Total yardage, particularly. Rushing yards, passing yards, overwhelmingly. Possession time, materially. So, the Rams, a ball club, as we said, that tonight has come together.
Vince Ferragamo, who was questionable during the course of the week after suffering bruised ribs against Buffalo, came out with the big gun tonight, has directed his offense absolutely flawlessly, has got great help from his offensive line. As we look at Jarrell Thomas, and he has a big opening right side. Turns on the speed, he's down the sideline. Aaron Mitchell tries to make the save, and he finally does, but not until Jarrell Thomas has gone all the way down inside the 25-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys.
I think we've got a repeat of the St. Louis Cardinal fiasco about 10 years ago. That's just straight. You can see right there the Cowboys have worked out all their defensive problems at halftime. And they get the offense worked out.
Look at this cutback by Jarrell Thomas. You saw the speed. They did not anticipate this youngster could move that fast as he goes 61 yards. And again, Cullen Bryant with a tremendous block, bringing Jarrell Thomas at the line of scrimmage. The first down, they mark it just inside the 25-yard line.
Statistics simply incredible.
Up to the line of scrimmage, Ferragamo puts both wide receivers. That's Waddy and Denard to the left side. The tight end is Victor Hicks. And here comes Cullen Bryant, who has contributed so much. It hasn't been the beautiful open field running, but he has sprung Jarrell Thomas on 2 runs tonight, one at 61 yards, one a 34-yard touchdown run.
I like to look at their average yards per carry. You see a 3.9. That's not bad. You're getting awful. You give it to them 3 times in a row and you got yourself first. See how I figured that out?
Well, with that last run of Thomas's, they've about tripled the Cowboys in yards gained rushing.
That was the longest run from scrimmage by any Ram back this season. Of course, so many of their Ram backs have been injured this year. Waddy in motion, Ferragamo, everyone in the pattern. And a flag blows, or a whistle blows, a flag is down. We're going to have a procedure call.
Ball start, 77 offense.
Doug Prince.
Left side, moving a little quickly. They'll back it off 5.
That's this year by a Ram. That's it, Frank. Elvis Peacock.
Ball start, 77 offense. Still first down.
152 yards.
And Jarrell Thomas, the rookie from San Jose State, is threatening that. More than that, they are threatening the mental stability of the Dallas Cowboys.
They'll come up with some trick plays here in a little while.
Second down, 15. Ball just inside the 30-yard line. Ferragamo again, a receiver wide open is Victor Hicks, the rookie from Oklahoma, who was actually drafted a year ago. Could not play. And he gets down inside the 10. It'll be first down, goal to go at the 8-yard line, and nothing the Rams do can the Cowboys stop.
I tell you one thing, somebody's done a heck of a job of either scouting, because I just can't believe Dallas is missing that many times. However, that appears that that's Randy Hughes, who has slipped down a little bit, 42, but he's still wide open. Good offensive plays. The plays are designed real well. These guys are
They are exploiting those cornerbacks. They've been doing it the entire game. They had this team scouted. That is for sure. Not easy for Tom Land.
Cowboys coming into tonight off a big win against Oakland a week ago. It's not the same team, however. Cullen Bryant. It's a block from Hara. Gets inside the 5. It'll be second and goal. Dennis Hara pulling out, smashing the cornerback. Well, hey, Malavase, he's man has been under fire. Is that really true? He didn't know that he had another year on his contract. He went home and looked at it. Somebody told him, and he went home and looked at it and said, hey, I've got another year here.
He'll beat off of him, I'll tell you that. Look at that differential in total yards. Almost 5 times the yardage racked up by the Rams. That's what the Cowboys have been able to achieve.
Second down, goal to go. The ball inside the 5-yard line. Short yardage offense. Walt Arnold, rookie tight end, a wing back. Here comes Cullen Bryant. So easy, spinning around as
Thomas, I think.
It was Jarrell Thomas again, and we've got a flag down. The Rams will be moved back with a holding. I'll tell you, you've got some bulk in there when you have Thomas at 223. Cullen Bryant at, well, Don, you said about 240.
I think he is. I really do. At 240. Well, you know, the thing is they're not partial. They'll run right or left.
Either way, eh?
61 offense, holding.
Rich Saul, the center, is having a tough night tonight. That's 61. Watch him. You'll see the hands on Larry Cole.
Yeah, he got him. All right. Larry says, now, wait a minute, Rich. The defensive linemen really are complaining about slight rule change where these guys can use their hands a little bit.
They just moved it out there where Ferragamo has some passing room. He can do nothing wrong tonight. Cullen Bryant with a running sprint. Tries to break loose. Randy White slid along the line of scrimmage. Dropped Cullen Bryant, but he gets back inside the 10-yard line.
Boy, they really just look awful. That Ram line is just tearing that group up. Now, they've had a pretty good year defensively. I'm talking about the Cowboys. Randy White then moving from a defensive tackle position to the outside where the linebacker is. Again, the Rams have either done one of two things. They're just blocking them away, or they've really scouted them very well.
Third down, goal to go. Inside the 10-yard line. Out to the left is Willie Miller. Moving out to the right is Jeff Moore, first-year man from Tennessee. Inside, handoff to Cullen Bryant. And that will bring up fourth down, and we will see the place kicking unit. And a scuffle breaks out.
Hey, that's Doug France.
And Randy White tying into each other.
France is a huge man. He goes over 270, but he's really a gentleman. His brother has moved out here with him, and Doug and his brother asked me to tell their mother tonight that they're behaving very well, not to worry.
Brother as big as him?
No, if he were, you'd have a heck of a scoop.
And you saw that cast on his arm. He's had actually broken thumb, I guess about 4 or 5 weeks ago, so he's not been up in the car, really.
Makes it very difficult to hold. Frank Corral. Roland Cromwell is the holder. And with 28-0, we assume that the Rams will go through with their field goal attempt, and they do. 27 yards out. Corral extends it to 31, breaking also a string of 4 misses for Frank Corral. We'll be back in Anaheim in a moment. We're in the third quarter in Anaheim, California, watching the Los Angeles Rams have one of the easiest nights that they've had in many years. They have just added 3 more points to their 28-0 lead at halftime. It is now 31-0. Frank Corral bangs it. It'll be taken by Steve Wilson. Wilson looking for the gap, and it closes quickly as Wilson is out over the 25, close to the 28-yard line, hit there by Carl Eckern. And I want to remind you, Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Pacific, 8 o'clock Central Time, WBC World Welterweight Championship fight. And what a fight it was, I guess. Roberto Duran versus Sugar Ray Leonard from the Superdome in New Orleans. See it for yourself. You've read so much about it. For the first time on network television, the Duran-Leonard rematch. Plus the WBC World Bantamweight Championship live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Lupe Pinter and Alberto Davila. Davila beat Pinter 4 years ago. Now he goes for the championship. You'll have
I'll have Leonard Duran live in our Los Angeles studios. Let's pick up with the action.
On first down and 10. Danny White is really smashed. Oh, he takes a shot from Cody Jones all the way back to the 20-yard line. Boy, and when the wheels come off, they have really come off.
He really, that was not what you call just a pull down. He really smacked him good. Danny looks like he's got some time there, and all of a sudden, here comes Cody Jones, and he really lets him have it. That was tough.
Quick note on the fight telecast, Frank. You will hear from most, if not all, of the principals. They're thinking immediately as the fight ended, before they had a chance to think and come out with some of the statements now being rendered.
Second down and 20, and it's Tony Dorsett who gets out over the 25-yard line, a gain of 6. And it'll be third down and 14. Joe Harris in there defensively now as Jim Youngblood, with that troubled elbow of his, is taking a little rest tonight.
5 times the passing yardage for the Rams against the Cowboys, and 6 times in net effect Well, maybe 5 times. The Russian yards. What dominance.
5 or 6.
Mathematics caused trouble to me, too.
You got an A in calculus.
I couldn't spell it. 3rd and 14 out of the shotgun for Dallas. Butch Johnson is there, and how do they rule it? Incomplete. Jeff Delaney made the pop. With Drew Pearson, the intended receiver.
Jeff Delaney, how many times have you heard his name? He's a kid from the University of Pittsburgh. He represents the whole Rams drafting process in the recent years because he's a player of the future, and he's being developed now and getting more and more opportunity.
Actually drafted a year ago, and they kept him out because of an injury.
Johnny Major's discovery.
Resembles Pat Hayden.
Danny White to hit it. Trying to run, and on 4th down and 14, Danny White comes up short. The Rams had to be thinking right along with Danny White. And the Rams will have the football at the 27-yard line of the hapless Dallas Cowboys.
Hapless. Well, that's one of the things that I am told Danny does on his own. They don't have those planned. And he's back there and thought he saw something, but I guess he thought he saw a lot of things tonight.
You know, basically what we might be looking at is the wild card playoff coming up on the 28th of December. Rams with a win tonight will qualify for a wild card. Cowboys already have. They can win the division if they lose tonight and beat Philadelphia by 26 next Sunday. Drew Hill in motion. Joe Thomas makes another good effort down inside the 22-yard line.
He got himself that yardage when it appeared he would lose yardage.
It's really a very strange thing to me, because you see it when a team goes, they go with kind of an all departments. It's been kind of sloppy tackling. They haven't done well on offense. They've missed some assignments on defense. It does seem, I believe, as Frank said, the wheels have just come off.
Be that as it may, it's one tremendous performance by this Rams team.
Really and truly.
Again, I'll go back to the adversity that has plagued them all season long. Players not showing up. They lost the Detroit game. A lot of veterans came in a few days before that game. Some missed it. As we watch Cullen Bryant being hit at the line of scrimmage, drop there. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Harvey Martin moving in on the stop.
But this team has come together spiritually. In a talk with Vince Ferragamo today, and you know he's had contract problems with the Rams, and the question is whether or not he will sign. He said, you can't crawfish out of a contract, and I resent what Brodzinski did when he walked out on this club. So they're coming together.
3rd down, 6. Ferragamo it up to Willie Miller. Oh, and what a sensational catch at the 6-yard line by Willie Miller.
I'll tell you, we have seen Denard do it. We have seen Waddy do it. And now Willie Miller has made a catch. This is terrific. An attempt at kind of that soft in-between pass we were talking about earlier, underthrown. Look at that concentration again. And right up over top.
And clearly in bounds.
Oh, yep.
Aaron Mitchell going to school tonight.
Well, Aaron says,
there
okay.
defensively.
Aaron really is in pretty good defensive position. The ball was a little underthrown. And there he goes. Yeah, today is Aaron Mitchell's birthday.
He is not getting a birthday present. He's getting a singeing.
1st and goal to go at the 6-yard line. Gerald Thomas.
There he goes.
Thomas down inside the 3, taken by Benny Barnes there. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, they're not really showing any partiality, the Rams.
No.
I mean, they
run
really
right, they run left.
Then they throw for a while. I think they're being very nice.
Just everything clicking for the Los Angeles Rams, who for the first time in 8 years have not won the Western Division of the NFC. A win tonight, however, they are in the playoffs. Dallas is already there, qualifying earlier for a wild card. Ferragamo quiets the partisan crowd. Thomas, and somehow or other, Thomas spun away from that first hit.
That was Dutton that came in there. We talked about him earlier. He usually is on those runs, and now they're in the goal line situation. And he shot the gap between that guard and tackle and caused a little damage there.
Boy, you could hear that up here.
Sir.
Oh. 3rd and goal, the ball at the 1-yard line.
I don't think the Cowboys have been shut out since
that St. Louis
the St. Louis game at 30.
1970.
Yeah, 1970, 38 to zip.
Oh. And they are about to go behind 38 to nothing. 3rd down and 1. Cullen Bryant, single setback. Thomas in motion. Gargamo. Oh, the man wide open over the corner, and it is the tight end, Victor Hicks, fighting along the line of scrimmage, slipping out wide open, and we are heading for the 38 points.
Do you believe this?
Cullen Bryant throws a block on Bruce Huther coming in from the linebacker position. Cullen Bryant steps up. Watch Cullen Bryant, number 32. That's Brunig. I was wrong. I think it's Brunig. Man, he leveled it. Came back across. Made it look really easy. Victor Hicks.
The 29th touchdown pass of the season for Ferragamo.
That's the second lick that Cullen Bryant has delivered to Bob Brunig tonight, and he fell both of them, I'll guarantee.
For the Rams, this is the impossible dream, as Al Michaels put it so well in the great American hockey victory at Lake Placid.
I think Al's is probably more apropos than here. That was the American dream. There you go, Hicks.
There he is. Victor Hicks. He was drafted a year ago. Couldn't play because of an injury. And now he's a starter at tight end for the Rams. We're back in Anaheim, and in case you just happened to flip on your television set, you did not stay at the party too long. You did not imbibe too much. This is really happening to the Dallas Cowboys. We have 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. So, settle back, put your toes up if you're in the east where it's kind of cold and chilly, and let's see what's going to happen. Frank Corral bangs it into the end zone. James Jones looks it over. It hung high. It hung for a long time. He'll stay there.
Good thinking, James.
I'd like to bring up something we could. First of all, we want to congratulate our 1980 Emmy winners here at ABC Sports this past week. Awards for their coverage of the 1980 Winter Olympics at Lake Placid. NCAA college football also was a winner, and our congratulations, of course, to Jim McKay, who was honored once again as the outstanding sports personality. 6 other awards were also given, including those to a great bunch of engineering guys for their work at the Olympics at Lake Placid. And boy, did they put on a show up there. All of the people that worked on the up close and personal that were so much a part of our coverage, and of course Chuck Mangione for the Olympic music. And here comes Tony Dorsett trying to turn the right side. He does so out to the 23-yard line for a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. What is that, 9 Emmys now for Jim McKay?
I don't know. I think that is 9. He does a good job. And I'll tell you, the NCAA guys, they did a good job too. I'm happy to see that.
I didn't hear Jim's speech, but he said something about sports has changed so much, and he felt so good about having contributed to that change over the years.
Well, he certainly has.
He certainly has.
And certainly NCAA college football is long overdue.
2nd down, 7. Tony Dorsett, big opening. Dorsett with the good speed. Andrews makes an effort at the 45-yard line. Dorsett steps out at the 44.
That might be Johnny Johnson, number 20. I'll wait and see. He comes in right here. Hey, there you go. Look out, Johnny. You saw this at the University of Texas, did you? Okay. Good move by Dorsett.
Of course, there was the big money signing of Johnny Johnson that occasioned, reportedly, so many of the Rams holdouts. But the kid's a great player, and he's got a great future.
He certainly is. And of course, Tony is, too. Dorsett's the kind of guy that really can make a difference sometimes. Everybody's falling down tonight, but he's still there.
Dallas at the Rams' 44-yard line. Eddie White will go up on top. He has the time. Fires over the middle.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute.
Flags are down, and Tony Hill is heading for the end zone.
And I think that should be a touchdown. Why would they call that back? Didn't he catch that ball?
Well, I'm sure that Gene Barth will clear it up.
Well, let's just talk about it while Gene's thinking about it. I mean, there was interference. The flags were thrown.
Well, you got Dorsett down there saying the same thing you're saying. If it was interference, I caught the football. I should be able to ramble into the end zone. We're so high up here we couldn't hear a whistle if they blew one.
Well, I
Here's
am
Gene
there.
Barth.
Gene, tell me something, Gene. Oh, not right yet. Okay.
We had interference on the defense. However, we had an inadvertent whistle. The ball was blowing dead here. First down.
That's exactly the situation we had in a Houston-Denver game with Carl Loach.
Well,
And that's the rule, an inadvertent whistle, and that's it, the ball's dead.
if they have many more of those inadvertent whistles, there's going to be a lineup.
Boy, there's no
what to
question
do with those.
Well, I think,
He got off his toe. Did you see that? He
I
kicked the ball
think
back.
that rule bears re-examination.
Did you see that?
That's Rod Perry. No question about the interference. That ball just bounded right off the toe of Tony Hill. Inadvertent whistle. As you heard Gene Barth. First down at 10. The Cowboys at the 25. And they're so far behind they didn't even complain.
We'll see that. Yeah, we'll see that play a lot in some of your highlights. Look out, son.
Wide in trouble. Oh, Reggie Doss, who was filling in for an injured Fred Dreyer, was in there first. Cody Jones was also there. Jack Youngblood was there.
One of the things about this little play action fake right here, little try and drop in there, you've got to get back up in that pocket in a hurry, and there's no pocket to get up into. They're just, well, the Rams are in a situation, though, you know, where they don't have to do anything but come.
That's correct, but let me say this about Reggie Doss.
All right.
He's a little rough, as Frank knows, because we've discussed it. But he is a player of the future. Great ability, and he represents the depth of this Rams team.
Inside handoff, Preston Pearson. One of the rare attempts from the line of scrimmage for Pearson. Gets inside the 35 to the 33. A gain of a couple. It'll be fourth down now and 18.
I would say that looking at that round bench, they're now going to more than likely be playing Dallas again in a couple of weeks. So Dallas is the kind of team I think that they're not going to do a whole lot.
Section there is fourth down 18. Third down 18.
They're a group of most happy fellas right now, I'll say that.
Out of the shotgun. And the Rams front four will just freewheel on this one. They're not thinking anything about run. Here comes the blitz. Danny White has to go quickly. Incomplete. Johnny Johnson coming on the safety blitz. Deep downfield, Preston Pearson made a vain attempt to go for the ball. It'll be fourth down.
Not a major gem of wisdom, but one of the things that the shotgun formation does do, it does eliminate a strong influence for a run. Therefore, they do come back in there. Danny threw the ball a little too quick that time. But when you're back there, you see all the pressure going. You know you don't have everybody blocked. You're going to throw the ball quickly.
Well, isn't it true the shotgun helps the quarterback in two basic ways, gives him better peripheral downfield vision immediately, and second, mitigates to some degree the blitz.
51-yard attempt. Right. Rafael Septian, he did that twice last year. Last week against Oakland, he hit from 52 yards out. He can reach it. But not this time.
Not tonight.
And the Rams still have the goose egg on the scoreboard, or rather the Cowboys still cannot get on the scoreboard, and the Rams will have field position once again. They'll get it at the line of scrimmage, their own 33-yard line. A Goodyear blimp, Columbia. Probably as astonished as we are at what has transpired here this evening. Our captain is here, Corky Ballinger. Our cameraman, Archie Griffin, hovering high overhead. Perfect night for football here in Anaheim for everyone except the Cowboys.
Archie Griffin left Cincinnati, I guess.
First and 10. The Rams bring it up at their own 33-yard line. That's the line of scrimmage. Missed field goal attempt. Took 50 yards out by Septian. Cullen Bryant, right side, and down goes Cullen Bryant. He had two tall Jones all over him, but down at the 31-yard line, the loss of a couple. It'll be second down and 12. You know, we mentioned that 38-0 thing. It took place back in 1970, and I wasn't working Monday Night Football at the time, but I was home, Don. I could almost hear you, the tears dripping on your spot board because you, of course, just fresh from having left the Cowboys. How's this one getting to you?
That's the night they chanted for Don. Earlier, they had booed him.
No, well, not really. This one is a lot different. Let's see what old Vince is going to do here. We'll get into that in a minute.
On second and 12?
Yes.
Cullen Bryant. And Bryant cutting back. Saving tackle by Charlie Waters at the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
I think, well, you see Cullen again. That's just a little cutback. Brunig is getting outside the middle as Harrop just pushed him out of the way. Came back in. That's Charlie Waters that has to make the tackle. They're really doing anything they want to tonight. The thing that happened in that game in 1970, they're playing the Cardinals, and I really did know a little bit more about the intricacies of what Dallas was trying to do, and it was so frustrating because everything they tried to do really did just go wrong. Now tonight, I don't have a clue what they're trying to do. They're fooling the heck out of me.
You know it's going wrong.
I know it's going wrong. But
Gerald Thomas again. He gets the 1st down, close to the 45-yard line. What a show Gerald Thomas, the rookie from San Jose State, has put on tonight.
Yeah, but what you have to remember is that this is an up-and-down game, that it's an almost eternal season. And that year, when St. Louis beat Dallas 38-0, who played in the Super Bowl?
Well, Dallas did, and I would say
they
this.
played against the Baltimore Colts,
and they'll
come back from this. That's the basic point.
Well, I think you're right. Obviously, the score is a distortion of these two teams' ability, so they'll have a chance to play one another again in a couple of weeks, and I guarantee you it'll be very close.
Mike Gooman, the rookie from Penn State, cutting back, and Gooman with a nifty gain out to midfield.
One of the things that you see happening out there, they really truly are. They're running anywhere they want to. They're running left. They really are running right. They want to trap. They're doing that too. So you got it all going.
Which way do you like it better?
I was always right-handed myself. Let's go to the right. 3rd and 2, go off right tackle. Why not?
Yeah, you got a point, but that was earlier in the season. You don't like to go into the playoffs.
No.
Play with a game like this behind you. You really don't. You have to question yourself. This is a very young team. 8 different starters on this field tonight from a year ago.
They'll play well next week against Philadelphia.
2nd and 3. Screen to Gooman. And this works also, but a flag goes down.
All right, they threw a flag. I guess it'll be clipping. I really know. But again, that play was beautifully set up. Holding, clipping, one of those.
Rick Saul says, no, it wasn't. But we'll find out.
And again, a reminder that Dallas, we know they can really blow you away quickly when they get hot.
Well, Frank, you say they're the leading scorer in the NFL. So, you come in here.
Illegal use of the hand, number 60 offense.
That'll help a little bit, but I don't think it'll turn the score around.
Dennis Hara, illegal use of hands.
The sign you just saw related to the intended or projected or purported move of the Raiders to the city of Los Angeles. That's a matter that at one time has caused 8 different lawsuits. Will not pursue it now.
2nd down, 14. Mike Gooman stacked up. They'll lose a couple more on this one. It'll be 3rd down and 16. The point being that the Cowboys return to Texas Stadium to play the Philadelphia Eagles next Sunday, and the 5th tiebreaker will be in effect, and for the Cowboys, who have already qualified for their wild card, for the Cowboys to win again the Eastern Division, they will have to win that one by 26 points.
That's a chore. That's a Sunday's work. They'll also be wearing a white jersey. See, that'll make the difference.
I know, but it's not going to happen. Not against Dick Vermeil.
Blitz by the Cowboys. Bergamo reads it, has to hurry a pass intended for Willie Miller, incomplete. Benny Barnes raining all over Willie Miller because he knew he'd get that quick pass rush. And here comes the punting unit. Frank Corral, who added the punting duties to his place-kicking role this past year. And James Jones is back at the 20. Mentioned next Sunday, the Cowboys in Philadelphia. Well, next Monday night, we have a rockin' sockin' type of game down in San Diego. San Diego and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Looking forward to that game. That's going to be a fun game. Those two teams are exciting teams to watch.
Jones,
throw a flag.
Fields the ball at the 23, and there's the flag.
Had to go. That's not one of those intentional things. That was Ivory Sully down there, and he threw a late hit. I think in a way he was just kind of caught up in the whole action. Everybody's trying to run over Dallas tonight.
Frank, I'd like to talk. We'll wait for the official call, and we'll do a commercial if we get the opportunity. I want to talk about the impact of this loss upon the Dallas Cowboys.
I just mentioned it. I think it's going to be a big impact. They have to question themselves.
The point I want to make.
Personal foul, number 37, piling on. First down.
Ivory Sully. Penalty tacked on and moves the ball out to the 40-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to take timeout here in Anaheim, and we'll be back in just a moment. Back in Anaheim, and the crowd remains, and the crowd is enjoying it quite as much as the Ram players are. They lead 38-0. 36 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Dallas totally frustrated on the air, on the ground. First down and 10. Dallas at their own 41-yard line. That's Drew Pearson in motion. Danny hits Tony Hill. Tony Hill steps over Leroy Irvin and gets down to the 36-yard line.
I think he's one of the exciting receivers in the league. I'd put him with John Jefferson, that kind of guy that's got that fluid sort of motion. I really am. I'm a fan of Brill Hills. He's the kind of guy that you'd love to have on your side. He can take it anywhere on the field and go all the way. He's got that kind of speed. He makes tremendous adjustments when you throw the ball downfield.
Well, the thing about him is the action begins when he catches the ball. He's a great runner.
And we will not complete this play. You heard the whistles. The gun had sounded before the ball was snapped. Snapped at end of the third quarter.
Well, they should try to remember that pattern.
And we'll be returning to Anaheim after this message from our local stations. Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California, and it's in the night of the Rams. Rams, of course, clinching a wild card playoff spot. They can't win the division for the first time in 8 years. But they're certainly going to move in as a wild card, and we could be seeing a wild card rematch on the 28th of December. First down, 10 Dallas as we begin the fourth quarter. The ball at the 36-yard line of the Rams, and here's Tony Dorsett, and boy, the Rams are smoking now. This is what you call building up your contract statistics game.
Look at those statistics. Look at the overwhelming superiority of the Rams. I truly believe that tonight the Rams have given the single greatest team performance in my 11 years, and we're about to close it out next week on Monday Night Football. I congratulate them.
And for the Cowboys, well, it's a hard row to hoe tonight. But keep in mind that they have had 15 consecutive years of winning seasons. 14 years of those 15 in the playoffs. Second down and 10. White going out to Preston Pearson. In and out of his hands. You won't see that often.
Another point I'd like to make, Frank. This is not one of those cheap promotions for the National Football League. No way. But the point is that a week or so ago, hello, Vince, San Diego lost by 23 points.
He might have been waving it down.
To Washington. San Diego lost by 20. Now, you know San Diego's a great football team. So what happened to Dallas tonight does not augur any accuracy for the future. Not with Landry, it doesn't.
Third down and 10. Danny White out of the shotgun. The Rams will just pre-wheel. Tony Hill wide open, and he holds on, and the Cowboys on the scoreboard. No flags down, and what a beautiful move Tony Hill put on over on the left side. Rod Perry totally turned around. Tony Hill took it in.
Frank, that's an example of what I mentioned just a moment ago of his ability to adjust to wherever the ball is thrown. And as you know, playing receiver, that's really not easy to do. This is what the Cowboys call a corner route or a zig out. You see the ball coming back, he caught it over the other shoulder.
You see, when Tony Hill looked back as if he were going to take it over one shoulder, Rod Perry looked back, and then when Rod Perry looked back, Tony Hill broke it to the outside, and Perry lost him totally.
I think he's one of the best there's playing today. I really do.
Seption for the conversion. There will be no shutout. Charlie Waters places the ball down. Seption drills it through the uprights. Danny White is just hit for his 24th touchdown of the season. We'll be back in Anaheim in a moment. Dallas is on the scoreboard. They now trail 38-7. What a tremendous weekend, and we've been talking about the NFC. Just a reminder again, in the AFC, 7 teams are still in the running for the playoff spots. None have even qualified for a wild card. And you think this playoff system works? Tonight is the 13th sellout of a 14-game weekend here in the National Football League. Seption hits it. Rams are playing for an onside kick. Drew Hill settles back, takes it at his 10. And Drew Hill, saving a little wear and tear on the body, steps out of bounds at the 19-yard line. There's your man, Drill Hill. And I remind you to stay tuned for ABC News Nightline, 30 minutes after the game tonight.
But I am with numbers. Dallas has had a quarterback sack in 67 consecutive games. They haven't had one tonight. Is that good for numbers?
Well, it'll give us something to think about.
Yeah, Bruce Jolis, my buddy, told me that.
Drew Hill in motion. This is Lydell Mitchell. He just was signed by the Rams this week. And Lydell picks up 4 yards, giving 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Well, that's got to be a nice thing for Lydell. When do you think the last time he carried the ball? Maybe 2 or 3 months ago?
Well, the training camp for the San Diego Chargers before he was released.
Yeah.
Boy, but he was something at Baltimore. Their leading receiver, their leading rusher for so many years. And, of course, having played his collegiate football at Penn State with Franco Harris. What a pair they must have been. 2nd and 7. Ferragamo drills it in, complete.
There's Lydell.
Lydell Mitchell, that's his other specialty, and he gets the 1st down out to the 30-yard line. And even though they said he was in pretty fair condition when they signed him this past week because of the loss of Elvis Peacock and Wendell Tyler, he has not really been conditioned for the contact.
Well, but they're, I think, surprised that they're having the opportunity to let him play some tonight. I don't think they really were going to use him unless somebody else got hurt, but now they can let him play. And if they need him against next week, he's at least had a little experience.
Jeff Moore, 86. Willie Miller, 82. Wide receivers for the Rams. And a break on the left side. That was Bill Bain moving off sides, making contact for the Rams.
You know, Frank, one of the things maybe we should point out at this time as we're looking at Tony Dorsett is that this telecast that we're looking at right now, of course, it's presented by the authority of the National Football League. And so, therefore, it's really intended for the private use of the audience. Yeah, now, any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is prohibited.
Superbly rendered.
Thank you.
1st down, 15. False start. Mike Gooman and the rookie from Penn State out over the 30 to the 32-yard line.
You know, I like that kid, Frank.
Which one?
Gooman.
Gooman?
I think he's got a future in this league. You mentioned he gained 90 yards last week.
Hey, he's a versatile athlete. He's done a lot of things at Penn State, where Lydell, of course, played his football. He was a wingback as a junior. He played defense as a freshman. He was a tailback finally as a senior for Joe Paterno. 2nd down and 8. Inside handoff. We'll look at Gooman once again. Cuts back, steps over the tackle of D.D. Lewis, gets out over the 35, close to the 36. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Bruce Huther, who filled in for Bob Bruning when Bruning had to leave the game, made the stop from his middle linebacking position.
The game is frankly struggling now. It's so well in hand.
But look at this character. You don't see that often. Now that...
Boy, he is good with that.
Yeah. Talk about something incredible.
He's planning to become Ben Vereen.
No. Hey, I like that one. Hey.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, 3rd down and 4. Dallas showing blitz. Here they come with it. Ferragamo reads it. Tries to get the ball to Jeff Moore, who was going to try and lateral it. And nothing happened. It's incomplete.
He didn't try to lateral. He just missed it. But I will say this. That was a good release by
Let's take a look. I think he was
Ferragamo
trying to get it to him.
No.
Yeah?
No, that just slipped out of his hands.
No, I don't agree with you. Gifford's right.
Gifford's not right. That guy can't think that fast. I'll guarantee he's out there to blitz.
Well, that's a set play.
Bull.
Frank Corral, the punt. James Jones. Deep, and Corral tries to keep it away from Jones. He gets around a bounce. And he gets a Cowboy bounce and settles in inside the 21-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. 11 minutes and 11 seconds remain in the game. It's been all the Rams. They lead 38-7. We'll be back. Goodyear Blimp Columbia trying to get into the Ram act tonight. Hovering overhead. Great night for football. Beautiful weather here on the West Coast. That's 70 degrees. Well, I point out one other thing. Again, 15 consecutive winning seasons. There's only one other team that has a better string of consecutive victories. That's the Oakland Raiders, the best ever in the NFL. They have 16.
Well, you saw their worst defeats. There were 5 of them. I was there for 3.
Well, you always did do your part.
That's what I always try to do, my fair share.
First and 10, Dallas.
Draw's a good play.
Tony Dorsett. Exciting, fun to watch. Gets 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. And we're going to be in San Diego next week. And I'm going to try and get this out. But I want to tell you about Pittsburgh. You know, they can get in, even though they've had their problems, as a wild card. And it's going to take this kind of a reaction. New England has got to lose to New Orleans. And if Cleveland beats Cincinnati and Houston beats Minnesota and the Steelers beat San Diego. Wait a minute.
Howard,
Buffalo would win the East.
Important.
Of course, if that all happens.
That's
Cleveland
right.
the Central, Oakland the West, no matter what happens to the Giants, by the way. Houston would be one wild card, Pittsburgh the other, because they would have a 10-6 record like San Diego. But the first tiebreaker is head-to-head confrontation. That would put Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, there's 500 million Chinese that are putting their yen on the Chargers.
Okay. Whoop! Oh! Ball's loose.
That's his 8th fumble.
Tony Dorsett, who we just spoke of earlier in the telecast, is having a pretty good season as far as holding on to the football this year, and of course going over 1,000 yards. What you say? I'll tell you one thing. Bo Derek would add a little style in this booth at this point.
Yeah, well,
She only just left the booth.
I can think of a lot of places Bo Derek would add things to. There's one of them.
Dorsett able to cover the ball. 3rd down and 7. Ball at the 24-yard line. Inside handoff. Dorsett once again.
Johnny Johnson's never seen anybody run like that.
Dorsett down the sideline for the first down at the 35-yard line, stopping the clock inside 10 minutes. Johnny Johnson was there. Leroy Irvin. I think you're right, Don. Johnny Johnson. Nobody can move that quickly.
Hey, he could get a 100-yard night again, Tony. There's no quitting this team, and there's no quitting this man.
What's that statistic? Yeah, the Cowboys throw a statistic at us. It's like, I think he, for the 18 times he's gained 100 yards, they've
won the game.
Well, they lost one, I think. 18-1 or something.
Better not make 100.
No, we got to keep those records intact. Those things are important.
Hugh Pearson left. Tony Hill right. White.
That's ridiculous.
Picked off Leroy Irvin, and I don't know who that was intended for.
Leroy Irvin.
But Irvin, the rookie who is on the spot tonight because Pat Thomas did not play, the regular cornerback for the Rams, out with a sprained ankle, and this 3rd-round draft pick for Kansas has done everything he could be asked to do.
It's a tough situation for Danny to be in. Not that it's really gone. He's trying to get it out there to Billy Joe Dupree. Leads him a little bit. He threw right into a heavy part of that defense. They were there. Leroy happened to be in the best spot. Pick it up.
There he is. We'll be back. A lot of fun game for Anaheim fans. I say Freudian slip there. Los Angeles Ram fans playing in Anaheim. They are happy tonight. They have locked up their wild card spot into the playoffs once again. Tough road to hoe. And the Rams have the football, 1st down and 10 at their own 47-yard line. Ferragamo obviously not suffering too much from the ribs because Rams could bring in Pat Hayden if they wanted to. Ferragamo was hurting. They keep him in. He pitches out to Lydell Mitchell. Lydell Mitchell over midfield. Gain of about 5. It'll be second down and 5. Mike Higdon there initially, getting help from Ed Too Tall Jones. And there's Pat Hayden. Hard luck kid. He broke a finger a year ago. Ferragamo took over the Rams, took them to the Super Bowl. Hayden had won the starting job again this season and the very first game against Detroit. Pat Hayden broke a finger. Ferragamo took over the starting role, and Ferragamo has been dynamite. Second and 5. Ball at the 48 of the Cowboys. Ball Arnold in motion. Lydell Mitchell, who is looking awfully good considering he has had not any contact to speak of. Well, none at all, I guess, since back in August. He gets inside the 45, short of the first down.
I want to emphasize, Frank, that his knee appears much better. He passed the Rams physical exam where he did not pass the Giants at that time. He had that loose knee, and the Giants were absolutely justified in rejecting it.
Yeah, loose knees fit in better in Southern California than they do in New York.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, that's not far from wrong.
That's it.
A little frosty back there this time of year.
That's right. You got a loose knee in California. That's not nearly as bad as having a loose knee in New York.
Third down, you saw how much. Look at Lydell Mitchell's great years. Unbelievable. 374 receptions coming into tonight's game over those 8 years. Nearly 6,600 yards in rushing. Most of all of that, of course, accomplished at Baltimore.
I think this whole thing's a trick. I think they're trying to set them up for the playoff game.
Lydell Mitchell gets the first down. Rams content to go with most of their backup people except their quarterback, Ferragamo.
And that's not Ferragamo.
First down is at the Cowboys' 42-yard line. Remind you again, next Monday night, San Diego and Pittsburgh, as we close out our regular NFL Monday Night Football season. We've had some thrillers.
Danny Fouts is fun to watch, isn't he? He's got his receivers down there. Those guys are fun. Of course, I love to watch Terry and
Lynn Swan.
Yeah, he's got a good group.
Ferragamo, Mitchell does not hold on, incomplete.
Bruce Huther there.
Glenn Carano.
You betcha.
Super talent in my book.
Absolutely. Really quick, you know, he was in Las Vegas. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. It is a Pee-wee football team. That's a good year. 50%, that's time always wins.
Absolutely.
1 TD, 12 yards. Doesn't make a difference. His Pee-wee football coach was Eddie LeBaron. And the quarterback on that Pee-wee team was not Glenn Carano. It was Wayne LeBaron, the coach's son. I mean, that's the way it works.
Politics.
He loves Eddie, though, and so do I.
Second down, 10. Mike Gooman. Gooman put a move on D.D. Lewis that you won't see by any running back very often.
Oh, they got him set
Why
up.
I love that kid, Don. He can play.
You don't do this to D.D. Lewis.
Well, at first they're on the inside. There's Dutton that goes down. I don't know where Too Tall was.
There's D.D.
There's D.D. was out there doing something. And they got Steve Wilson coming there and knock him away.
Gooman gets another Ram first down inside the 28-yard line, stopping the clock as he steps out of bounds with 7:22 remaining.
Give me any guy Paterno trains. Any guy.
Walt Arnold, the rookie from New Mexico, in motion. Ferragamo drills one that Drew Hill cannot handle. Incomplete. I mentioned that, told you a moment ago, how Pittsburgh, and I'm sure you don't understand it because
I do.
I'm sure you do.
I've got it.
But the other thing, no matter what Oakland does with the Giants on Sunday, San Diego is still going to have to beat them to win the Western Division of the AFC.
Well, I can tell you right now how
Pittsburgh.
Oakland will do against the Giants.
Now, you be careful. What do the Giants do to Dallas?
38-35.
38-35. But Dallas wore blue jerseys that day.
I know.
Second and 10. Jeff Moore, the first-year man from Tennessee. This is Mitchell. Mitchell takes Harvey Martin for a bit of a ride for a pickup of 4. I think the crowd would like for the Rams to pour it on even more. These teams have met 5 times in the last 7 years in playoff competition. Dallas has a 3-2 edge, but the Rams beat them last year in Dallas as they went on to ultimately lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl.
It's not been a good night for Danny. Bless his heart.
I like the way he handles it, though, Don. We talked about that coming over. Nothing seems to bother him. He's very cool. He knows there's going to be another day.
He's a good guy. He's also a terrific athlete.
3rd and 6. Dillman inside the 20, short of the first down. It'll be 4th down. Dennis Thurman defensively there for the Cowboys.
Well, they ran left, and he should have cut sooner.
Yeah, but they can also go right if they want to.
Rams keep their kicking unit on the bench on 4th down.
And a play-action pass, of course, will freeze the linebackers. I don't know that...
Well, they couldn't do it. They couldn't punt from here. They don't want to go for a field goal. That could hurt. It could be blocked.
Yeah, but you have to
go for the
wonder.
first down.
You have to wonder if Tom is thinking about is Malavasi trying to pour it on.
Not at all. No, Tom doesn't think that way.
It's the right call. Ferragamo in and out of the hands of Jeff Moore, and Ferragamo was right on target.
That wasn't the same guy that you told me was trying to make a lateral a while ago, was it?
Yes.
I see.
Must have been trying on this one.
Yeah. That's the only thing he learned in practice is you don't catch it, you lateral it off to somebody.
Glenn Carano has come on the field for the Dallas Cowboys. Danny White will get a breather. We have 5:40 remaining in the game. We'll be back. Glenn Carano. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Art. I just wanted to introduce a new quarterback for the Cowboys.
All right, you did it. I just want to emphasize that we'll have Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran live in the studio with me Friday night.
No mas.
No mas.
No mas.
Carano, a second-round draft pick 4 years ago. Is playing the role now that Danny White played for so many years, 4 years to be exact, behind Roger Staubach. First play, he unleashes with the arm that we have seen in preseason play, and he has got a strong arm.
He's also got terrific touch. Maybe a purer passer than is Danny White. Not the all-around athlete, does not have the generalship, but I'll tell you, he ain't bad.
Pick up at 6, 2nd down and 4.
They got another kid behind those two. Hogaboom. That's right. And he can play.
Carano, draw play. Robert Newhouse. Down he goes, short of the first down, gets a couple of yards.
That's the play I'd call if I was back 38-7.
3rd down and 2. Mike Fanning, who's had a great year for the Los Angeles Rams, leading the club in sacks, made the stop, and there is the man that really sparked a offensive explosion for the Rams in the first half.
I think it was on that when they were on their own 3-yard line.
When Leroy Urban set it up.
No.
Exactly right.
No. Oh, when he went out. But when on 3rd down, they got a 3rd down and long, and he hit was Denard coming across the middle, and that really just opened it up. They took off from there.
Out of the shotgun, Glenn Carano, 6'3", 202-pounder. Carano gets the ball to Jones. He does not hold on. He would have had the first down.
Pretty good little dance step by Glenn back there, although the ball was thrown a little hard. Jones maybe could have caught it.
Boy, there was a lot of hot breath on Glenn Carano's back. He was surrounded by Rams. And the Cowboys will have to turn it over again. Danny White comes back out. And dropping deep, a pair of safeties for the Rams. Nolan Cromwell, who is a little bit of everything. Anytime the Rams want something special on any of their teams, they use Nolan Cromwell, that great athletic skill. Also back there, Johnny Johnson, the rookie first-round pick from Texas. Nolan Cromwell, the fair catch called for, and successfully made at the 35-yard line. So the Rams will have 1st and 10. The ball at their own 35-yard line. We look at Doug France. Those are the numbers for Bob Lee, the quarterback for the Rams. And a nice gesture on the part of Ray Malvesi. He's not putting Pat Hayden in the ball game with the Rams on top, 38-7. A lot of controversy centered around the quarterback duel out here, but there can't really be much of a controversy. Ferragamo has had a great year. Pat Hayden has had his own successes with the Rams, but the injuries last year and this year has given Ferragamo the opportunity. He's made the most of it. But this is Bob Lee, former Minnesota Viking quarterback, who hands off now to Mike Gooman, who really wasn't playing last year when Hayden was hurt. The Rams picked him up, and he actually performed very well for the Rams last year in a couple of key games.
There's a group.
Boy, it's easy when you win big.
Yeah, it is. Enjoy it, guys. Why not? You really deserve it. You know, Bob Lee had some good years in Atlanta, too, Frank.
Sure did. He was traded to Atlanta, and then Atlanta traded him back to Minnesota.
Well, he had that great victory over a then unbeaten Minnesota team. Fran will never forget it. Lee had a great night. That pass to Tommy Garrity.
General Robert E. Lee, they had him in Atlanta. That's a good place for him.
Newman got one, 2nd down and 9. Here comes Lydell Mitchell.
Lydell says, wait a minute.
He runs into Mike Hagman. He gets to the line of scrimmage. That's it. 3rd down and 9. There is a football player.
There
a football
is an
player.
athlete.
Now smile, Nolan. Come on. Nice looking guy.
He picked up his 8th interception.
The way they grow him in Kansas.
Frank, what did you say? What was the interception record for the Cowboys? Is it 25? I don't have it, of course, so therefore I'm going to ask.
Eddie LeBaron, 25, back in 1960.
That's throwing
to bring that up, Eddie Barron, who just guided the Atlanta Falcons to their first divisional title ever.
So if you'd seen the team we had in 1960, it wouldn't be bad to bring up.
Lydell Mitchell stopped right at the line of scrimmage, dropped for a loss, as a matter of fact. And we'll see the punting unit now for the Los Angeles Rams as we head down towards the 2-minute warning.
That's Irving and Rod Perry. And, both of those guys have had a heck of a night. Perry intercepted one, and Leroy Irvin's been kind of a hot spot.
Played good defensively.
Yeah,
it'll help Pat Thomas do well. There's James Jones. He set a Cowboy punt return yardage record. Here's Frank Corral. And we've got the 2-minute warning as the Rams just let it run down. Contented, happy about the situation. They're in the playoffs as a wild card. Cowboys must try next week. 2 minutes remaining in the game from Anaheim, California. Rams totally dominant tonight. Our statistician Jerry Klein had his eyeballs spinning like a top in the first half. They could do just about no wrong. And on 4th down, Frank Corral will punt. James Jones has positioned himself at the Cowboys' 25-yard line.
I still think that stat about no quarterback sacks. They had 67 straight games where they got at least one. They've gotten none tonight.
Low kick by Corral. Jones. And it sets up for Jones, and he gets out to the 45-yard line for the special unit of the Rams. Closes down, headed by Jeff Delaney. Glenn Carano had a great preseason. Good Glenn Carano. There was some pressure, as a matter of fact, even though Danny White had been the backup man for so many years to the great Roger Staubach, to go with Carano. But Danny White, of course, you cannot fault the year he's had also.
I don't think Tom was giving him a play. I think he was saying, Clint, if Danny does this again, the job is yours. He does things like that. Oh, no, he wouldn't say that. No, I'm teasing.
First down and 10, 45-yard line of the Dallas Cowboys. Jack Youngblood with a little pressure and knocked up in the air. A lot of Rams were around it, but Nolan Cromwell couldn't come up with it. It was Carl Eckern, number 55, who got a big paw on it. There they are. And, of course, the only spot not clinched, or at least the only division not clinched, is the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. They'll get it on down in Dallas next week. And, of course, as we mentioned several times tonight, it goes to the 5th tiebreaker. We won't repeat all the other 4, but it goes down to the tiebreaker that says that the Rams would have to win by 26 points. Jack Youngblood. And, boy, the Dallas Cowboys would have to win by 26. And,
Frank,
boy, I'll tell you,
that one
is a great football player, and he is shaken up.
You got to hope that that guy is not hurt badly, because he really is a key.
2nd down, 10 yards to go.
No contact made. The Rams back on side. 2nd and 10. Toronto fires it complete out to the 45-yard line, taken by Jay Saldy there. Just a little bit short of a first down. Now they mark it right at the 45. That should be good enough for a first. Well, at least they could have measured it.
Well, why?
Almost picked off by Johnny Johnson.
I want to tell you that was a great play, even though he didn't hold it. What timing, what anticipation, as good as you can be.
Well, one of the things that the defensive backs have at this time of the game is they have a certain sort of security they don't start the game off with, you know?
That's true.
I mean, they can go for those things. That was a good play by Johnny. But, hey, they don't have anything to learn. I mean, anything to lose. That's Jack Youngblood. Looks like they're going over his ankle, knee. That could be trouble.
Hey, he played the playoffs all last year with a broken fibula.
That's the point. Not with Youngblood. That man is unbelievable.
4th and inches, Carano, who was quite a running quarterback when he played at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, gets the first down. More than a minute remaining in the game now.
Our buddy Jerry Klein just handed me up. Another good throw.
Complete. This is Drew Pearson. And Drew Pearson down to the 17-yard line. Another Dallas Cowboy first down.
The Rams have totaled 519 yards total offense tonight. Now, the most yards Dallas has ever allowed was 527 yards in 1962.
St. Louis.
You're right.
You ran a game called.
Hard idea.
Too many men on the field is what the call was.
The Rams had too many men on the field.
They had it backwards for a moment. And
we'll check those game films. They could have had too many men on the field all night long. Maybe that's what it is.
Apparently, they did. That's what I remember Dwayne Thomas saying when somebody asked him, "You are very fast."
Cowboys
Dwayne
take the
said,
gain.
Apparently.
The first down is at the Rams' 17-yard line.
Well, apparently the ones they had on the field did the job tonight.
54 seconds remain. Rams showing safety blitz. Now they drop out of it. Toronto firing in the corner of the end zone, intended for Tony Hill, and good coverage there by Lucius Smith, the rookie from Cal State. At Fullerton is the Rams have emptied their bench. Clock stopped at 48 seconds. Second down at 10, the ball at the 17-yard line.
Admitting that Dallas is a truly great football organization, and that man is a truly great football coach.
Third best that ever did it.
They have been embarrassed tonight, but they need not be ashamed. They played a team tonight that was almost frenzied in its intensity.
You got it.
Perfect game plan, and they have played brilliantly. So I salute the Rams tonight.
Cowboys, the same team that beat the Oakland Raiders a week ago. Toronto, no chance. He was going down, tried to get the ball off, incomplete.
Well, that's a pretty good reaction for a quarterback. He was going down, Frank. He did throw the ball away, but at least in an area that he's not going to be called for grounding the ball. It's not bad.
Boy, this is something, this AFC
Figure
playoff.
that out.
I'm going with the 500 million Chinese who are really involved in this National Football League.
I don't want to get into it all of it, but didn't we determine that not any of those teams, however, has a lock?
That's right.
Boy, it has really come down to the final week. Third down and 10. Toronto, again, feeling the pressure of the pass rush. Had to unleash it, and down he goes. Butch Johnson, the intended receiver, is fourth down coming up. Nolan Cromwell back there defensively.
And that's your life for your basic NFL quarterback. Hello. He says, "Don't I know you from somewhere?"
He does now.
Yep.
Again, the Rams thinking not at all about the run. They have just unleashed everyone. That was Phil Murphy, a rookie from South Carolina State. He's a pretty large fellow, 6'5" and 280. 4th and 10. And Carano out of the shotgun. Preston Pearson looks for the blitz. Carano, corner of the end zone. Beautiful shot. Butch Johnson, but what a great pass by Carruth.
Was a good throw.
Right over Nolan Cromwell. Touchdown, Dallas.
I hope Toronto doesn't get fined for his jersey being out.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. That's the pride of this team.
4th down and 10. The kid does have a good arm, and he does have good touch. He drills the ball in. You see some Rams there. Cromwell is one of them.
And I love Butch Johnson as a player. A great team play man. That's their pride.
Well, they're a terrific team. We talked about their record, which is terrific, and they will be in the playoff. They're already in the playoff, and they may win the division. I doubt if they'll beat Philadelphia 26 points. They may not even beat Philadelphia, but at least they're going to be in the playoff.
Seption puts it through the uprights. Glenn Carano, I mentioned also that he not only was a great passer, but he rushed for a lot of yardage and a bunch of touchdowns at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas.
Frank, the night is running out. It's been a remarkable performance by the Rams, but we can't let this night go. And I must talk personally here about one of the remarkable men I've ever known in sport. He died over the weekend at the age of 51. So many memories, so much dignity, so much class. The home run against Don Newcombe in the '55 World Series. The remarkable hitting against the Bucks in the '60 World Series. The most valuable player in the American League in 1963. The Yankees with so much class still in that ball club, but how they miss Elston Howard and, of course, Thurman Munson.
We're all going to miss him. A great man. Onside kick attempt. Had to travel the 10 yards. Rams all over the football. They were, of course, anticipating that. 27 seconds remaining in the game. Like our spotter, Steve Bazika, also tonight, who here in the lofty heights of Anaheim Stadium has been stretching his eyeballs considerably tonight. And a reminder, we'll be in San Diego next Monday night. San Diego and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And there'll be much on the line in that one.
Well, 8 yards, and they will have set the record for most yards gained against the Dallas defensive team in the history.
And they're just going to plop on it. Probably is the quarterback. They get into their plopping offense.
I think if they... Now they're going to lose a yard there.
Final seconds ticking off. Great victory for the Los Angeles Rams. Tom Landry will be busy this week. Ray Malavasi under fire. I really don't know whether he is or not. But he has moved to the playoffs for the 3rd time in 3 years as the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, the Cowboys are already there. Once again, the final score, Los Angeles 38, the Dallas Cowboys 14. And remember to stay tuned for ABC News Nightline, 30 minutes after the game, 11:30 on the West Coast over most of these ABC stations. Our blitz has been provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements paid through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United flies more people to Hawaii than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader of sports television. We'll see you in San Diego next Monday night with the Steelers.